Phoenix Knights. Chapter 3125. Gu Fei used the extreme grade Dao tools one after another, which shocked the Meng brothers. They did not expect their master to have so many extreme grade Dao tools on him. It should be known that the extreme grade Dao tools were Dao tools refined by the supreme extreme grade supremes. They were also the most powerful Dao tools in the world. Ordinary cultivators were not qualified to see such Dao tools. Even the Meng brothers had never seen them before. They had only seen forbidden tools and the demon bones of the extreme grade demon ancestor. There was a big difference between the demon bones of the extreme grade demon ancestor and the extreme grade Dao tools. To some extent, the extreme grade demon bones were not as powerful as the extreme grade demon artifacts. Of course, it also depended on the part of the demon bone. If it was the skull, then it was another matter. In the depths of the sky, Missouri Mingtian, who was fighting with the mysterious demon mountain lord, fused with the skull left by the extreme grade demon ancestor, showing unimaginable power. Even though the mysterious demon mountain lord had the 3-boundary monument, he could only fight to a draw with the number 1 demon in the eastern region. However, another extreme grade aura soon erupted from the depths of the starry sky. It was an extremely violent extreme grade aura, and the domineering aura that erupted from it was even more domineering. The entire starry sky trembled, and large stars fell from the starry sky. This was definitely a great disaster for the untainted land of demons. Once those stars fell to the ground, it would probably destroy a region, and countless living beings would die. What happened? When the powerful beings of the devil race on the ground saw this scene in the sky, they were all dumbfounded. This was definitely a sign that the world was going to be destroyed. Rumble! The huge stars fell from the sky and quickly approached the ground. At this time, all the experts of the demons felt extremely uneasy. Some forces of the demon path directly began to run for their lives. However, some Devil Dao forces directly used their trump cards to block the countless stars that were descending from the sky. The huge stars fell directly, and the entire void shook. Although the western region of the primal chaos demon realm was incomparably vast, at this moment, the huge stars that fell from the sky blocked the sunlight. It was as if the night had suddenly fallen. On the ground, huge light shields emerged one after another. Some light shields were even bigger than the falling stars. Boom! Along with an earth-shattering noise, the first star finally fell to the ground with an apocalyptic might. In just an instant, the entire mountain was reduced to ashes and dust soared into the sky. The ground was sinking, and in the next moment, fireballs rushed out in all directions and smashed into the ground. A huge mountain was hit by a fireball, and the top half of the mountain immediately exploded, sending countless rocks flying through the air. With the point of impact of the star as the center, a ring of dust rose tens of thousands of feet into the air before sweeping out in all directions. Everything in its path was destroyed. The mountains, forests, lakes, rivers, and mountains were completely erased from the ground by the ring of dust storm like they were made of paper. Just like that, countless living beings in the western region that had been struck by the meteor perished. Only a small number of powerful creatures managed to survive. The scene of the star crashing into the earth was too shocking. Fortunately, the star had fallen into an uninhabited area. Otherwise, even more creatures would have fallen. However, it wasn't just one star that fell from the sky. There were hundreds of stars falling from the sky, and every star was shrouded in flames, like huge fireballs. This was the friction between the stars and the void, and then they started burning. The flames illuminated the earth, but the countless living beings on the ground couldn't be happy, because the fireballs in the sky were the fire of death that brought death. Outrageous! What are the mysterious demon mountain lord and Mo Mingtian doing? They actually shot down so many stars in the sky. A black-robed middle-aged man stood on top of a huge mountain in the boundless mountain range. He looked up and saw the hundreds of fireballs falling from the sky. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Then, the black-robed man soared into the sky and rushed towards the falling stars. He waved his sleeve, and immediately, more than 10 stars were sucked into his sleeve. The countless living beings below the black-robed man were spared because of his action, but he didn't have any intention of stopping the stars that were falling from the sky. Everyone only cared about the snow in front of their door and the frost on the roof of their house. The black-robed man only protected his clan, and he didn't care about the lives of others. Boom! Another loud sound came from the ground in the distance. A second star fell to the ground, and a dazzling flash tore through the void. The earth shook, and a terrifying destructive aura spread in all directions. With the place where the star fell as the center, the vast and mighty energy fluctuations destroyed everything. Countless more creatures fell, all of them obliterated. That area was also uninhabited, and no demonic cultivators blocked the star. The entire area was already dominated by two forces. The experts of the mysterious Demon Mountain and the Falling Moon Demonic Palace had no choice but to come out. Some important places even had incomparably huge light barriers that enveloped the area. At this time, the experts of the mysterious Demon Mountain rushed out from the burning demon desolate domain. Luo Peng and the Phoenix Sparrow, which directly crushed the teleportation formation in their hands. A ball of demonic light rushed out from their hands and instantly enveloped them. Swish! The demonic light flashed, and the two of them directly disappeared into the void. These two fellows. Seeing that, the demonic rock emperor couldn't help but feel a little unhappy. Luo Peng and the Phoenix Sparrow, which didn't even greet him before leaving. These two fellows clearly still didn't treat him as one of their own. Swish! The demonic rock emperor soared into the sky and turned into a demonic rock. He directly rushed towards the direction of the mysterious Demon Mountain. He knew that if the territory of the mysterious Demon Mountain was damaged, his master would be very unhappy. The demonic rock's speed was extremely fast, and he instantly went far away, disappearing into the void. At this time, an aura that made all living beings tremble spread from the depths of the starry sky. Blood Devil made his move, and he held a peerless ominous blade. With just one blade, he immediately separated the mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and Mo Mingtian, who were in the middle of a great battle. Wherever the blade light passed, the void was annihilated, and the huge stars directly exploded. Blood Devil, it's you! Mo Mingtian couldn't help but be shocked when he saw Blood Devil. This Blood Devil wasn't a nobody, but an incomparably powerful great demon Venerable. Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord, Master is very disappointed in you. Why haven't you taken down Mo Mingtian after so long? Chapter 31-26 Rumble. In the sky above the western region of the Chaos Demon world, hundreds of fireballs fell from the sky and directly fell on the land of the western region. A terrifying aura of destruction spread out, causing countless living beings in the western region to tremble, as if doomsday had come. At this time, there were only two superpowers in the western region. They were the Black Demon Mountain and the Falling Moon Demon Palace. Boom! With a loud noise, the earth shook. A fireball fell in an uninhabited area. The power of destruction that erupted directly destroyed the uninhabited area, and replaced it with a huge, bottomless pit. The destructive dust storm that spread in all directions directly flattened the area within thousands of miles around the pit. Everything was erased from the ground by this power of destruction. Another area was destroyed. If a star fell from the starry sky in an uninhabited area, then no one would take action. However, if it fell in an important area, such as the ancestral land of the Black Demon Mountain, or the ancestral land of the Falling Moon Demon Palace, then it would be different. Rumble. A fireball directly fell from the sky towards the Black Demon Mountain. The huge fireball was like a divine sun descending from the sky. Before it actually hit, a terrifying heat had already descended from the sky. What? Everyone on the Black Demon Mountain was shocked to the extreme. The experts of the Black Demon Mountain immediately activated the protective mountain formation. At this time, Luo Peng and the Phoenix Sparrow Demon Girl rushed back in time. A ball of demonic light rushed out from the peak of the Black Demon Mountain, and then instantly spread out. Not only did it cover the entire Black Demon Mountain, but also more than half of the Black Demon Mountain range. Boom! With a loud noise, the fireball that fell from the sky hit the demonic light that covered the sky above the Black Demon Mountain. The powerful impact caused the entire demonic light to shake. Countless demonic patterns appeared on the demonic light shield. The demonic patterns intertwined and formed a mysterious and unpredictable demonic diagram, which actually blocked the falling star from the starry sky. "Senior brother, what are you doing up there? Why haven't you taken down Mo Mingtian after so long?" At the peak of the Black Demon Mountain, Luo Peng saw that the protective mountain formation could block the star, and then he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Mo Mingtian is known as the #1 demon in the eastern region. How could he be taken down so easily? Feng Kewich said. Although she looked relaxed on the surface, she was a little anxious in her heart. If the Black Devil Mountain Lord couldn't deal with Mo Mingtian, then the master would be very unhappy. If their master wasn't happy, they wouldn't have a good time. At this time, the stars falling from the sky all turned into fireballs, and these fireballs were rapidly approaching the ground. The demonic cultivators in the western regions could no longer sit still. There were constantly experts who took action, directly using their great magical powers to collect the fireballs falling from the sky. For a moment, there were incomparably powerful demonic forces erupting all over the western regions. Demon Venerable level powerhouses could capture the stars and the moon, so it was not difficult for them to collect these falling stars. There were actually very few stars that actually fell to the ground, and they only fell in uninhabited areas, some places that were considered barren and unruly. Some stars even fell into the Forbidden Zone, but those that fell into the Forbidden Zone disappeared mysteriously. The Forbidden Zone was still mysterious. There were even a few stars that fell into the Burning Devil Desolate Domain, but these stars didn't have any effect on the Burning Devil Desolate Domain. And at this time, the strange sound coming from the Devil's Den in the depths of the Burning Devil Desolate Domain became more and more terrifying. That heartbeat sound was filled with terrifying destructive power. All the big shots of the demonic path in the vicinity of the Devil's Den had already retreated. Even the great demon Venerable level big shots couldn't bear that kind of sound. On the mountain peak near the Devil's Den, Gu Fei and the others were still watching. The power of the mountain and river cauldron emitted from Gu Fei's body, enveloping him and the Meng brothers behind him. It was precisely because of this that they could stand close and observe the Devil's Den. At this time, the divine power in the Devil's Den was still increasing. The creature in the depths of the Devil's Den was about to be born. In the endless divine light, there seemed to be a divine domain looming. It was a vague world, but Gu Fei knew that it definitely existed. Could it be that it was the legendary ancestral god's domain? If there was a devil domain, there would naturally be a divine domain. Since there was a divine creature in the Burning Devil Desolate Domain, it was naturally someone from the divine domain. In the past, the creatures in the Chaos Demon Realm and the creatures in the legendary ancestral god's domain had a great war. The Chaos Demon Realm wanted to conquer the ancestral god's domain. However, the result was very clear. Because if the Chaos Demon Realm conquered the ancestral god's domain, the Chaos Demon Realm would not be like this now. The gods in the ancestral god's domain were not to be trifled with. What is that? At this time, a ball of dazzling divine light rushed out of the Devil's Den, and an extremely terrifying divine power spread out from the ball of divine light. What? It's really a heart! When Gu Fei saw the thing wrapped in the divine light, he was a little stunned, because it was really a real heart. This was the heart of a supreme god ancestor. As the heart beat, the whole world shook. This heart was too powerful, as if it could destroy this part of the world. Mountain and river cauldron? At this time, the ball of divine light wrapped around the god ancestor's heart, and a vague figure appeared. It was the figure of a middle-aged man. Although it was only a silhouette, Gu Fei could still sense the arrogant aura coming from the silhouette. The supreme god ancestor was really powerful. When Gu Fei saw this scene, he could not help but be shocked. It was just a shadow, but it made him feel great pressure. If a real supreme god ancestor came to this world, this part of the world would not be able to contain the body of the supreme god ancestor, and it would be crushed by the power of the supreme god. The figure appeared for a very short time, and soon disappeared in the void. However, the ancestral god's heart soared into the sky, and instantly disappeared in the void. The powerful heart disappeared, and at this time, Gu Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Behind him, the Meng brothers were even worse off. Even under the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, they still suffered a great impact, and blood flowed out of their mouths and noses. The divine power disappeared, and the hazy divine realm that appeared around the Devil's Den also disappeared in the void with the departure of the ancestral god's heart. Then, the extreme incomplete formation that covered the whole Devil's Den began to collapse, and the whole Devil's Den was collapsing. Soon, dust rose into the sky, and in the rumbling sound, the whole Devil's Den collapsed. Chapter 31:27. There was a huge change in the burning Devil desolate domain. A heart full of vitality rushed out from the depths of the Devil Cave, and went far away. Gu Fei didn't expect that the heart of the ancestral god was still full of vitality, and contained boundless divine energy even though the ancestral god had already fallen for countless years. That was the heart of an extreme Tao expert. Moreover, the ancestral god might not be completely dead yet. There was still a remnant of his soul attached to the heart. At the summit of the mountain, Gu Fei thought of the terrifying demon eye again. Perhaps the supreme demon ancestor that had fallen for countless years was not completely dead yet. At this moment, the might of the extreme Tao came from the depths of the starry sky. A terrifying aura came from the depths of the starry sky and directly descended on the earth. Countless living beings on the western domain of the chaotic demon realm were terrified to the extreme. Even the great demon venerables felt their souls trembling. What's going on? Two of us can't even deal with the number one demon in the eastern domain? Gu Fei, who was standing on the summit of the mountain, raised his head and looked at the starry sky. His gaze seemed to penetrate the void of heaven and earth, directly into the depths of the starry sky, and saw that great battle. Master, that blood devil is too useless. If you let us attack, we might have already beheaded Mo Mingtian. The eldest of the Meng brothers, the skinny one, said. It should be known that the Meng brothers were the central domain's twin evils. They cultivated a joint killing technique. When the two of them joined forces, their battle prowess was naturally much stronger than that of Blood Devil. Gu Fei did not say anything. He did not obtain anything from this trip to the burning Devil desolate region. This made him very depressed. Isn't there a relic here? You guys go and look for it. Gu Fei thought for a moment, and said, Relic. The Meng brothers couldn't help but look at each other. They were very puzzled. How could there be a relic here? This was the first time they heard of it. Yes, master. Although they were puzzled, the Meng brothers didn't dare to disobey Gu Fei's order. It should be known that their life and death were in Gu Fei's hands. The Meng brothers left. At this time, with the departure of the ancestral god's heart, the danger level of the burning Devil desolate domain was greatly reduced. This was because the remnant divinity in the burning Devil desolate domain had been absorbed by the ancestral god's heart. Although there were still hidden dangers in the burning Devil desolate domain, they weren't that scary anymore. Sigh, in the end, I still have to take action. What's the point of having you guys around? Gu Fei shook his head. Then, he soared into the sky and disappeared into the void. At this moment, balls of fire descended from the sky in the western region, causing all the creatures in the western region to be terrified to the extreme. This was definitely a scene of destruction. From the land of the western regions, powerful fiend shadows constantly soared into the sky, taking away the falling stars. Soon, all the stars falling from the sky were collected. Not a single one of them landed on the area covered by the demonic light barrier. Of course, Gu Fei did not care about these things. The battle in the depths of the starry sky had reached its climax. The aura of the peerless ominous blade was vast and mighty. The stars in the entire starry sky were trembling, as if they would fall from the starry sky at any time. Blood Devil made his move. The ominous blade in his hand emitted a blade light that cut through the void. It broke through the layers of demonic energy and slashed towards Mo Mingtian. Mystic Demon Mountain Lord also made his move. The three-boundary steel in his hand drew the power of the three realms. It was as if three great worlds had evolved around him. The power of the world was under his control. The three worlds evolved from the three great worlds attacked Mo Mingtian at the same time. Rumble! The void was annihilated by the three worlds. Nothing was left. The demonic energy that emerged from Mo Mingtian's body was directly obliterated by the power of the world. "Ha ha, you want to kill me? You're still not enough." Mo Mingtian laughed crazily. Then, his silhouette disappeared in the void. Preposterous! Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil were incomparably shocked. It wasn't that they couldn't defeat Mo Mingtian, but after Mo Mingtian fused with the extreme demonic bone, he actually had this kind of demonic divine ability that could penetrate through the void. This divine ability was extremely mysterious. It could actually instantly disappear under the attacks of the three-boundary steel and the peerless ominous blade. If Mo Mingtian didn't have this divine ability, he would have been killed by Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil countless times. How could he still be so arrogant? Boom! Mo Mingtian directly appeared behind Mystic Demon Mountain Lord. Then, a skull directly rushed out of his body and rushed towards Mystic Demon Mountain Lord to devour him. That was the power of the extreme demonic path. It seemed like it could devour everything. However, it couldn't devour Mystic Demon Mountain Lord because Mystic Demon Mountain Lord was protected by the three-boundary steel. Buzz! The three-boundary steel floating above Mystic Demon Mountain Lord's head let out a trembling sound. The aura of the extreme demonic path was vast and mighty. The energy of the three realms surged, and it directly blasted the skull that was trying to devour it away. Damn it! Mo Mingtian was also very helpless. He did not know where these two fellows had obtained two extreme path Dao artifacts. It would not be easy for him to kill these two fellows. Swoosh! At this moment, an extremely domineering blade light directly slashed towards Mo Mingtian's head from afar. The extreme Dao saber chi was vast and mighty in all directions. The skull that rushed out of Mo Mingtian's body was immediately smashed by Blood Devil's blade. Seeing that the blade light was about to split Mo Mingtian in half, Mo Mingtian actually disappeared into the void in an instant. What? This wasn't the first time. This made Blood Devil both shocked and angry. The other party didn't fight him head-on at all. Instead, he was hiding, which made him very passive. Those who fled could escape to any place, but those who chased could only follow behind them. This made Blood Devil very depressed. Mo Mingtian, you're called the #1 demon in the eastern region. Do you dare to come out and fight me head-on? Blood Devil roared. He couldn't sense Mo Mingtian's existence at all. That guy relied on the extreme Dao demon bone to play hide-and-seek with them. Ha ha, Blood Devil, you'd better save it. When this demon dominated the demon world, who knows where you were? Your little provocation is useless against this demon. Mo Mingtian's voice resounded in the void. His voice was erratic. Even experts like Blood Devil and Mystic Demon Mountain Lord couldn't sense his exact location. What should we do? Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil looked at each other and felt very helpless. Although they had extreme Dao weapons, they couldn't kill Mo Mingtian after so long. Their master would definitely blame them. They were a little anxious. However, just as Mo Mingtian was laughing wildly, an ancient cauldron suddenly appeared above Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others. Buzz! A rumbling sound erupted from the ancient cauldron. A circle of transparent ripples immediately spread from the ancient cauldron. A powerful force suddenly suppressed the entire void. The entire starry sky seemed to freeze. A mighty force came from the ancient cauldron and sealed all directions. It was as if time was going to freeze. This, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil were extremely shocked. They looked up and saw a black-clothed young man standing on the ancient cauldron. This black-clothed young man was their master, Gu Fei. Master! Seeing Gu Fei's arrival, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil were both surprised and happy. Their master had personally taken action. Mo Mingtian was definitely dead. At this moment, a figure fell out of the void and was imprisoned in the void. This guy was Mo Mingtian. You! Mo Mingtian looked at the black-clothed young man on the ancient cauldron in horror. He never thought that the other party could break his magical power and suppress him. The mountain river cauldron could suppress the mountains and rivers of the world. Naturally, it could also suppress Mo Mingtian. Swoosh! At this moment, Blood Devil slashed at the imprisoned Mo Mingtian. He was not suppressed by the power of the mountain river cauldron and could move freely. Stop! Gu Fei, who was standing on the ancient cauldron, hurriedly said. Blood Devil forcefully retracted his slash. He could not and did not dare to disobey Gu Fei's order. If Gu Fei wanted him to die, he could do it with just a thought. The two of you are too useless. The two of you can't even defeat Mo Mingtian. Get down and help the Ming brothers find the legendary relic to atone for your crimes. Gu Fei didn't wait for Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil to speak. He waved his hand and the three-boundary monument floating above Mystic Demon Mountain Lord's head immediately flew back to him. At the same time, Blood Devil's peerless saber also flew out of his hand. He retrieved the two Supreme Tao soldiers and waved his hand again. Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil immediately flew out and disappeared in an instant. When Mo Mingtian saw this scene, he was shocked to the extreme. The powerful mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil were as weak as two children in front of this black-clothed youth. With just a wave of his hand, the two fellows were sent flying. Okay, now it's your turn. Tell me, how should I deal with you? Gu Fei, who was standing on the mountain river cauldron, looked at Mo Mingtian, who was imprisoned in the void, and smiled. There was a demonic shadow struggling on Mo Mingtian's body. It wanted to break the surrounding power of suppression and rush out. However, the power of the mountain river cauldron was not something that the demonic shadow could break. The demonic shadow on Mo Mingtian's body was constantly changing. Sometimes it turned into a human shape, and sometimes it turned into a hideous skull. However, no matter how the demonic shadow struggled, the result was the same. It could not escape at all. If you don't want to talk, then I will send you on your way. Chapter 31-28. When Gu Fei made his move, Mo Mingtian naturally couldn't escape. The number one demon in the eastern region was directly sealed in the void by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. He couldn't even move a finger. Mo Mingtian was scared out of his wits. Even if he had fused with the extreme demon bone, he was still as weak as an ant in front of this black-clothed youth. You don't want to speak? Then I will send you on your way. Gu Fei stood on the mountain and river cauldron. The mountain and river cauldron emitted hazy primordial chaos energy. This kind of ancestral energy could crush the sky with just one strand. The mountain and river cauldron contained primordial chaos energy, which was why it could suppress the mountains and rivers of the world and become one of the most powerful Tao tools in history. Although Mo Mingtian's extreme demon bone was powerful, it could be used to deal with Black Demon Mountain Lord and Blood Devil. However, if he wanted to use it against Gu Fei, it would be like an ant trying to shake a tree. The extreme demon bone was completely suppressed by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. The skull wanted to rush out of Mo Mingtian's body and escape, but it was firmly suppressed by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. Roar! A terrifying skull kept appearing on Mo Mingtian's body. It struggled and roared, but all of this was useless. It was impossible for him to escape. Don't! When he saw Gu Fei really take out the ominous blade that caused him to tremble with fear, he knew that Gu Fei wasn't joking. His life or death was in the hands of Gu Fei. What did you say? Gu Fei smiled faintly at Mo Mingtian, who was suppressed in the void. This guy's cultivation was not bad. He was stronger than mysterious Demon Mountain Lord, Blood Devil, and the Meng brothers. Of course, if Mo Mingtian refused to surrender, then Yi Shiwen wouldn't be lenient. The number one demon in the eastern region was simply a joke in front of him. Don't kill me! This little demon is stronger than mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others in terms of cultivation and combat power. Leaving this little demon alive is absolutely not a bad thing for Master. Mo Mingtian quickly said. It wasn't that he didn't have a backbone, But he knew that if he wanted to live, he had to beg for mercy. If he wanted to die faster, he had to anger this guy. Humph, at least you know what's good for you. Very well, from now on, you shall be my servant. As Gu Fei spoke, he extended his right hand and pointed at the center of Mo Mingtian's eyebrows. A rune immediately entered Mo Mingtian's soul. What this is? Mo Mingtian was shocked. He could feel that something was wrong with his soul. Someone had placed a restriction on it. Like this, he had no choice but to become this guy's slave. In the next moment, Mo Mingtian felt his body lighten. The irresistible power that was suppressing him disappeared. He let her go just like that. Mo Mingtian was pleasantly surprised, but in the next moment, his expression greatly changed. A terror that originated from the depths of his soul uncontrollably emerged, making him feel as if he had fallen into an icy cavern. Although the suppressive force had disappeared, he realized that he still couldn't move a finger. It was as if his entire body wasn't his. How can this be? Mo Mingtian wanted to speak, but he realized that he couldn't even open his mouth. He wanted to release his demonic intent, but he couldn't control it. It couldn't leave his body. Mo Mingtian couldn't believe it. He was known as the #1 demon in the eastern region. He had encountered all sorts of things, but he had never encountered something like this before. There's no need to panic. As long as you don't betray me, nothing will happen, Gu Fei said calmly. Yes, master. Mo Mingtian's voice was trembling. At this moment, he could finally speak. I want to know how to leave the primal chaos demon realm. Tell me everything you know. Gu Fei stood on the mountain and river cauldron and looked down at Mo Mingtian calmly. Although his tone was calm, there was a flash of light in the depths of his eyes. An invisible pressure spread out from his body. Mo Mingtian naturally didn't dare to hide anything. It should be known that the other party had done something to his primordial spirit. Only God knew whether the other party could sense his thoughts or not. Mo Mingtian was worthy of being called the #1 demon in the eastern region. His knowledge was naturally broader than that of the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others. This was because Mo Mingtian had reached the Tao much earlier than them. It wasn't that there was no way to leave the primal chaos demon realm. There were some ancient lands in the primal chaos demon realm that had teleportation arrays. However, there weren't many of such ancient lands. There was no such ancient land in the western region. Although they were called ancient lands, they were actually ancient ruins that had been abandoned for countless years. These ancient lands were very dangerous. No one was willing to take the risk to enter such ancient lands. Mo Mingtian knew of an ancient land. It was a dangerous land in the eastern region. There were ancient ruins inside. It used to be the ancestral land of a great sect. However, for some unknown reason, such an ancestral land had turned into a desolate domain. Some ancient devils knew some secrets. One of them once said that the destruction of this super sect had something to do with another world. After this matter is settled, I naturally have to go to the eastern region, Gu Fei pondered. Hearing Gu Fei's words, Mo Mingtian didn't dare to say anything. At this time, the #1 demon in the eastern region was trembling in fear in front of Gu Fei. He no longer had the prestige of the #1 demon. Just as Gu Fei was pondering, a divine light suddenly rushed out from the western region. Then, a powerful divine aura spread out from the ground. This aura even spread into the depths of the starry sky. What happened? Could it be? Gu Fei couldn't help but be moved. That was the eruption of the extreme divine power. Could it be that something happened to the ancestor god's heart that escaped? Very quickly, an extreme demonic might erupted and a terrifying aura spread into the depths of the starry sky. Let's go and take a look. Gu Fei directly stepped on the mountain and river cauldron and rushed out from the depths of the starry sky. He naturally brought Mo Mingtian with him. Very quickly he descended from the sky. In the depths of an uninhabited region in the western region, two extreme divine powers exploded and collided. The aura of divinity and demonic nature spread in all directions. The pressure of the extreme divine power spread out, and blood mist appeared in the mountains. There were powerful creatures falling, their bodies and souls destroyed. They couldn't bear the pressure of the extreme divine power. Gu Fei had the protection of the mountain and river cauldron. Naturally, he wasn't afraid of the pressure of the extreme divine power. Mo Mingtian was also not afraid because he had fused with the skull. It was the skull of the extreme demonic ancestor. The extreme demonic power was vast and mighty, protecting Mo Mingtian. That is. Chapter 31-29. During this period of time, the western region of the Chaos Demon world had definitely attracted the attention of all the experts in the demon world because there were too many things that happened in the western region. First, the Black Demon Mountain destroyed the demonic lake. The Black Demon Mountain rose up and became a superforce that was on par with the falling Moon Demon Palace. Then, the Burning Demon Desolate Domain changed. The Demon Eye of Annihilation appeared and started a massacre, causing the entire demon world to be in a state of panic. Now, a heart of the Ancestor God appeared in the Burning Demon Desolate Domain. This heart of the Ancestor God was a great threat to all the demon forces in the demon world. Because the demons and the god race were mortal enemies, most of the demons hoped that the Demon Eye of Annihilation could defeat the heart of the Ancestor God. In the current era, the passage between the Chaos Demon world and the Ancestor God realm had long been cut off. No one could connect this passage. Therefore, the heart of the Ancestor God could not return to the Ancestor God realm. Among the billions of living beings in the Chaos Demon world, there might be remnants of the Ancestor God realm. Because of this, the appearance of the heart of the Ancestor God made all the demons in the Chaos Demon world nervous. If the ancient war between gods and demons were to happen again, many living beings would die. The Chaos Demon world might enter the Dark Age. Rumble! Two waves of extreme divine power and demonic power kept clashing in the mountain ridges, causing the entire world to tremble. As the shock waves spread out, mountain ridges after mountain ridges were directly turned into ashes. In an instant, everything within a radius of 10,000 miles was erased. The mountains, rivers, and lakes disappeared from the earth. Even Gu Fei, who was high up in the sky, felt the impact. The stars in the starry sky trembled as if they would fall from the starry sky at any time. In the void, countless divine inscriptions interweaved and ancient divine diagrams appeared, forming a shocking killing formation that obliterated the Demon Eye of Annihilation. The Demon Eye of Annihilation naturally would not sit and wait for death. The demonic light emitted from the Demon Eye of Annihilation destroyed everything and blocked the killing formation of the divine path. The two forces seemed to be equally matched and were in a stalemate. The might of the extreme Tao spread out, spreading throughout the entire western region. Even the experts of the demonic Tao in the central region sensed the commotion in the western region and were extremely quiet. The primal Chaos Devil world was huge. It was a perfect macro world, but such a macro world was nothing in front of an extreme powerhouse. They could easily cause damage to this macro world. One should know that the great desolation world of the human realm had already been destroyed. Only a great master of the extreme Tao could destroy a world. Therefore, the cultivators of the later generations guessed that the destruction of the great desolation world was most likely caused by a great battle between great masters. At this time, the countless living beings in the Chaos Devil world's western region were in a state of panic. The extreme divine might and the extreme devil might swept across the land of the western region, and the entire region could be destroyed. This was not a battle between true extreme Tao experts. It was just a confrontation between a heart of the ancestral god and a Demon Eye of Annihilation. Even so, the area within a radius of 100,000 miles around them had been completely destroyed. Countless living beings had fallen and caused great destruction. High up in the sky, Gu Fei was extremely shocked when he saw this scene. At this time, a shadow rushed out of the heart of the ancestral god and directly rushed towards the Demon Eye of Annihilation. At the same time, a demonic shadow appeared above the Demon Eye of Annihilation and charged towards the divinity shadow. The two shadows began to fight fiercely. Seeing this, Gu Fei was shocked, but he stared at the two shadows who were fighting. He had to admit that he was really lucky to be able to see such a great battle. These two shadows were the remnant souls of divinity and demonic remnant souls that were attached to the heart of the ancestral god and the demon eye of annihilation. The battle between such existences was equivalent to the battle between the supreme god ancestor and the supreme demon ancestor. The extreme Tao runes emitted from the two shadows were what Gu Fei needed to comprehend. Gu Fei's cultivation had reached a bottleneck. If he took another step forward, he would be an extreme Tao supreme master. This step was not so easy to take. It should be known that there were only a few people who could become an extreme Tao supreme master since ancient times. Of course, Gu Fei was very confident. He had the heart of invincibility, and firmly believed that he could also take that step. Since others could become an extreme Tao supreme master, so could he. Watching the battle of the extreme Tao gave him a lot of inspiration. Mo Mingtian was also watching the battle seriously. His cultivation had also reached that step, but he had not been able to take that step successfully. This made him extremely depressed. The two shadows moved quickly in the void. There seemed to be a world looming around them. The battle that had happened in an extremely long time ago had reappeared in the current world in a different way. There were not many people who were lucky enough to see this battle. Not everyone could withstand the power of the extreme Tao. Of course, that was except for those demons who had the extreme Tao demonic weapon. The battle between the heart of Ancestor God and the demon eye of annihilation caused a huge commotion. Soon, there were powerful demonic shadows moving around in the nearby area. Some demons had arrived. These demons were obviously able to withstand the power of the extreme Tao. They also had the aura of the extreme Tao surrounding them. The battle continued. The divinity shadow was extremely powerful. He kept performing the killing skills of the divine path in an attempt to kill the demonic shadow. It was as if the extreme Tao god ancestor was attacking. Heaven and earth and the void were constantly being destroyed. However, the demonic shadow was also attacking. Endless demonic patterns were imprinted on the divinity's shadow. The two supreme masters were enemies of life and death when they were alive. Even though they had fallen and only a remnant soul was left, they still wanted to determine the winner. Whether it was the god ancestor or the demon ancestor, their obsession was too strong. They fought when they were alive and fought after they died. If there was no winner, they would continue to fight. The earth-shattering battle shook the entire Chaos Demon realm. Powerful auras kept coming from afar. Many demons had arrived. However, wherever the two blurry figures passed, everything would be destroyed. Even the powerhouses of the demon race who were wielding their extreme demonic weapons were very apprehensive. The mighty power fluctuation above the two blurry figures shook the entire western region. The two superpowers in the western region had to use the protective formation. What's going on? On the peak of Black Demon Mountain, Luopun, who was presiding over the protective formation, said in shock. The aura of the extreme Tao was mighty, but it made him extremely frightened. Even with the protective formation as a barrier, he still felt that his soul was trembling. Chapter 31:30. A different kind of extreme Tao battle broke out. The vast and mighty divine might and demonic might caused millions and millions of living beings to tremble. They were terrified to the extreme. The two forces only collided slightly, but it directly destroyed the area within a radius of 100,000 miles. Countless creatures turned into dust in an instant, and their bodies and souls were destroyed. Only the demons, who were protected by the extreme Tao weapons, could watch the battle from afar. But even so, the demons had to be careful and did not dare to be careless. After all, this was a battle of the extreme Tao. If they were affected, even if the demons had the extreme Tao weapons to protect themselves, they would still suffer a great impact. Rumble! At this time, above the sky, two phantoms were fighting fiercely. One of the phantoms' divine aura soared into the sky, and rays of divine light rushed out from his body like divine rainbows. Every ray of divine light emitted the extreme Tao's divine power, like the extreme Tao divine sword piercing through the void, and strangled the demonic shadow. Rays of demonic light rushed out from the demonic shadow's glabella. There was a demonic eye opening there, and the annihilating demonic light swept in all directions, blocking all the killing divine light. The God Ancestor and the Devil Ancestor, these two rivals, fought from life to death, and even their remnant souls were fighting. They really had to fight in life and death. The enmity between the two great extreme grade experts was too great. No one knew what exactly happened between the two great extreme grade experts that caused their obsession to not be extinguished. After countless years, they were still entangled together. Perhaps only when one side was completely defeated by the other, and completely eliminated from this world, would this hatred be over. At this time, Gu Fei was standing high in the sky, watching the battle between the two extreme Tao experts seriously. The extreme Tao realm was vast and mighty. Whether it was the divine Tao or the devil Tao, they were actually different routes to the same goal, and the principles were the same. With Gu Fei's current cultivation, it was difficult for him to feel anything. It was as if there was a hazy veil in front of him, and he could not see what was in front of him. This made Gu Fei extremely depressed. It was as if he was just one step away from becoming an extreme grade supremacy. However, he just couldn't take that step no matter how hard he tried. It seems that it is really not easy to take that step, Gu Fei muttered to himself. At this time, Mo Mingtian was also staring at the two figures fighting in front of him. However, he didn't hear what Gu Fei was saying. Mo Mingtian's cultivation realm was actually similar to Gu Fei's. Just like Gu Fei, he found it hard to comprehend the extreme Dao runes. If that step was so easy to take, then there would be extreme grade powerhouses in this world. It was indeed as difficult as ascending the heavens for Gu Fei to take that step. Of course, this wasn't absolute. Everyone's luck and fortune were different. In the eyes of some great figures, Gu Fei was a person blessed with great luck. Perhaps he would be an exception. Boom! Bang! The phantom formed from the remnant soul of the ancestor god was incomparably powerful. The power of the extreme divine art shook the heavens and the earth. It actually shattered the void in this part of the world and struck the phantom into the shattered void. Roar! The devilish figure roared in rage as a terrifying devil might gushed forth. Another large portion of the void shattered as that devilish figure directly rushed out from the shattered void. Buzz! The demon light of annihilation shot out from the glabella of the devilish figure. The void was annihilated, and it actually pierced through the phantom of the ancestor god. The two Supreme Being phantoms were still locked in battle. It was difficult to determine the victor. This made Gu Fei a little speechless. It seemed like these two fellas really didn't know when to stop. The heart of the ancestor god and the demon eye of annihilation finally rushed up and fused with their respective phantoms. Then, they directly shattered the void and fought in the chaotic void. Seeing this scene, all the leaders of the demons were incomparably shocked. Some of the demons directly chased into the chaotic void. A battle of the extreme grade wasn't that easy to encounter. Some of the leaders of the demons didn't want to miss this battle and actually took the risk to chase into the chaotic void. The terrifying divine might and devil might of the extreme grade retreated like the tide. This made countless living beings in the western region heave a sigh of relief. Gu Fei didn't move because at this moment, a demonic light flew over from afar and landed in his hand. It was a messenger devil talisman. Yes, I really found it. Gu Fei waved his right hand and the demonic light immediately dissipated in the void. Master, what did I find? Mo Mingtian also wanted to enter the chaotic void to watch the battle. However, since Gu Fei didn't move, he didn't dare to act on his own. One should know that his life and death were in the hands of Gu Fei. It's nothing. Just follow me, Gu Fei said and kept the mountain and river cauldron. He took a step forward and disappeared in the void. In the next moment, he had already traversed thousands of miles and arrived outside the burning devil desolate domain. He didn't stop and directly walked into the burning devil desolate domain. Mo Mingtian's speed wasn't slow either. However, compared to Gu Fei's 8 desolate steps, he was still a lot inferior. He could only barely catch up to Gu Fei. Why did you come to the burning devil desolate domain again? Although Mo Mingtian was very puzzled, he didn't dare to say anything. In the blink of an eye, Gu Fei had already disappeared. He hurriedly chased after him. Gu Fei walked in the void. There was an illusion of an ancient cauldron on his body. He used the power of the mountain and river cauldron to protect himself. This burning devil desolate domain still had unpredictable dangers. He didn't want to die here without knowing why. Swoosh. Just when he passed by a bloody hill, a crimson light suddenly rushed out from the hill and slashed towards him. It was a saber light that rushed out from a rusty broken saber. When the saber light slashed the ancient cauldron on Gu Fei's body, it was directly repelled by the ancient cauldron's illusion. It couldn't hurt Gu Fei at all. This is... Gu Fei stopped. He looked down and saw that there was actually a skeleton on the bloody hill. The skeleton was holding a broken saber in its hand. The pitch-black skeleton was still emitting a faint demonic aura. It was very obvious that this skeleton was definitely an expert among the demons when it was alive. After this expert demons died, his murderous intent didn't disappear. Although the demonic saber in his hand was already broken, it could still emit extremely sharp saber light. If Gu Fei didn't have the power of the mountain and river cauldron to protect himself, he would have been injured after being hit by the demonic blood saber light. Gu Fei didn't care about the skeleton on the hill and continued to rush into the depths of the burning devil desolate domain. Wherever he passed, even if he encountered any danger, it was just daunting but not dangerous. Mo Mingtian followed behind Gu Fei. Naturally, it was much safer. When he encountered a dangerous place, he would directly go around it. Rumble. Very soon, Gu Fei heard a muffled thunder-like sound. Dust rose into the sky in front of him. Someone was breaking the ground with great power, trying to dig out something underground. When Gu Fei approached, a figure rushed out from the sky full of dust. This person was Black Demon Mountain Lord. He came in front of Gu Fei and bowed, then said, "Master, please wait for a moment. Let me clean up the ruins below. The ruins are underground." Hearing this, Gu Fei was a little surprised. "Yes." Black Demon Mountain Lord glanced at Mo Mingtian, who was catching up to Gu Fei, then said, "Needless to say, Mo Mingtian was definitely subdued by Master. Mo Mingtian was the #1 demon in the East region and had mastered the extreme demon bone. Such a person was naturally very useful to Master." "All right then." Gu Fei nodded and said, then stood in the void. Then Black Demon Mountain Lord turned around and rushed into the rolling dust. At this time, the demonic power in front of him was vast and mighty. The earth shook and the mountains shook, as if the whole earth was about to be turned upside down. This situation did not last long. The muffled thunder-like sound gradually disappeared. At this time, Gu Fei waved his big sleeves, and the dust in front of him was immediately blown away by a strong wind. The place covered by the dust turned out to be a big pit. This pit was very big. At a glance, it was probably as big as thousands of miles. In the big pit, there were broken walls everywhere, and among the rubble and bricks, there were half-exposed bones. This is... To Gu Fei's surprise, not all of the skeletons in the ruins were black. There were divine bones that were as translucent as jade. "Is this actually a battlefield of gods and demons?" Gu Fei said. "Battlefield of gods and demons." Mo Mingtian couldn't help but be surprised when he heard Gu Fei's words. One must know that the battlefield of gods and demons was not a good place. In this kind of ancient battlefield, terrible and ominous things were likely to happen. The immortal obsessions of gods and demons who died in battle might give birth to unknown things. At this time, several demonic figures rushed over from all directions. They were Black Demon Mountain Lord, the Meng Brothers, and Blood Devil. They had successfully cleared this ruin. In the middle of the ruins, there was a house that had not completely collapsed. To be precise, it was a temple. Why was it a temple? It was because the stone pillars on both sides of the door of the house that had not yet collapsed were carved with ancient totems. In the distant past, these ancient totems would only appear in sacred temples and then be worshipped by the god race. The totem creatures that could be worshipped by the god race were naturally extraordinary. It was the image of the ancestor of the god race, the innate gods. The innate gods were creatures born from the primal chaos. Master, that temple seems strange. We don't dare to go in without permission, Black Demon Mountain Lord said to Gu Fei. Well, you guys did a good job. Gu Fei nodded and said. In this ruin, there was only a temple left in the center. No one could think of the secret of this temple. This was what Gu Fei needed to figure out. Without any hesitation, Gu Fei took a step and instantly appeared in front of the temple. Looking through the broken door of the temple, it was pitch black. Even Gu Fei couldn't see anything. Chapter 31:31. The ancient ruins were buried under the burning demon desolate domain, but the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others used their great divine ability to clear out the ruins. Within a radius of thousands of miles, there were broken fences and dilapidated walls everywhere. This was a ruin. It could even be said to be an ancient battlefield, because there were traces of swords, spears, swords, and halberds everywhere. Even the bones buried in the ruins had fragments of weapons embedded in them. There was no doubt that a fierce war had taken place here. However, in the depths of this ancient ruins, there was actually a temple. This made Gu Fei and the others feel shocked and incredulous. The lonely temple standing in the ruins gave people a mysterious feeling. At this time, Gu Fei and the others arrived in front of the temple. They saw that the gate of the temple had long been broken, and the inside of the gate was pitch black. No one could see clearly what was inside. The open gate was like a bottomless black hole that could swallow any living creature that approached at any time. At this time, the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others who were searching in the ruins had returned. They didn't find anything useful. Everything here had been worn away by the passage of time. Amo Mingtian found a broken ancient formation platform, but the runes inside the ancient formation platform had already dissipated and couldn't be repaired. Gu Fei's hope was placed on this mysterious temple. He hoped that he could find something in this temple, otherwise, he would have to go to the eastern domain. Who wants to go in and see? Gu Fei glanced at the 5 great demon venerables behind him and said. Then, the eyes of the mysterious demon mountain lord, the Meng brothers, and blood devil fell on Amo Mingtian. This guy was new and hadn't done anything yet. Therefore, the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others all pointed at Amo Mingtian. Ha! Gu Fei saw such a dramatic scene and couldn't help but laugh. You 4 bastards! Amo Mingtian, on the other hand, was displeased. These 4 fellows were clearly trying to scam him. Even though he was angry, he did not dare to show it. He even had to put on a smile. This was simply too humiliating. One should know that he was the #1 demon in the eastern region. At this moment, Amo Mingtian even wanted to die. The feeling of completely losing his freedom was not a good one. Since it's what everyone wants, Amo Mingtian, you can go. Gu Fei looked at Amo Mingtian with a smile that was not a smile. Yes, master. Amo Mingtian could only brace himself and walk forward, but he was very careful. A skull's shadow appeared on his body, and he fused with the skull of the Extreme Path demon ancestor. Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others immediately felt their bodies tighten, as if a primordial demon mountain was pressing down on them. They couldn't even straighten their backs. This guy, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others naturally knew that Amo Mingtian was doing this on purpose. This is really outrageous. This guy has a skull left behind by the Extreme Path demon ancestor. It seems that it's better to not provoke this guy. Of course, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others were not afraid of Amo Mingtian. No matter how strong Amo Mingtian was, he was just like them, a servant of Gu Fei. Amo Mingtian would not dare to attack them. At this moment, Amo Mingtian had already walked into the ancient temple in front of them. Seeing Amo Mingtian's figure disappear into the darkness of the temple, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others were extremely nervous. Even Gu Fei clenched his fists. Boom! At the next moment, a dull sound came from the temple. Then, Gu Fei flashed to the side and a figure flew out of the temple. Gu Fei dodged it, and the figure flew past him. Gu Fei could be considered to have dodged this disaster, but Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others behind him were hit. Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others couldn't react at all. When Gu Fei flashed, the guy that flew out of the temple had already smashed in front of him. Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others couldn't dodge it even if they wanted to. Therefore, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the other 3 unlucky guys were directly sent flying. Of course, the guy that was in the most difficult situation was naturally the guy that flew out of the temple. That person was Mo Mingtian, who had just walked into the temple. At this time, Mo Mingtian crawled up from the ground. When Gu Fei saw Mo Mingtian's appearance, he immediately laughed out loud. He saw that there was a footprint on Mo Mingtian's face. Even the lines on the sole of the foot were very clear. Mo Mingtian, you! When Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others saw Mo Mingtian's appearance, they couldn't help but laugh. But then they were incomparably shocked. Someone actually kicked Mo Mingtian out of the temple. Roar! Mo Mingtian was in an extremely difficult situation. He rushed towards the temple's wide open door and roared. His eyes were filled with an ominous glint. In his blood-red pupils there were demonic lines that caused people's hearts to palpitate. However, Mo Mingtian seemed to be very worried about the existence inside the temple. He was only being ruthless in the air and didn't dare to break into the temple again. What's the situation inside? Gu Fei said. An old guy, Mo Mingtian said. In fact, he also didn't see clearly. He only saw a vague figure, and then he was directly kicked in the face by the other party, sending him flying. Countless years had passed. After being buried in the ground for countless years, there were still living creatures inside the temple. This was too ridiculous. What kind of creature could live for so long? However, the footprint on Mo Mingtian's face was real. It couldn't be that Mo Mingtian was so ruthless that he kicked himself. Haha, what number 1 demon in the Eastern Domain? It seems that he is only SOSO. The eldest of the Meng brothers, the skinny one, said. Humph. Mo Mingtian fiercely looked at the eldest Meng brother. Demonic lines were intertwining in his eyes. 2 blood-red light blades rushed out of his eyes and slashed towards the eldest Meng brother. What? Do you want to fight? Come on, who's afraid of who? When the eldest Meng brother said that, his glabella suddenly split open. A demonic eye opened and a demonic light swept out. The 2 blood-red light blades were immediately blocked. The 2 forces collided together. The space between the eldest Meng brother and Mo Mingtian was annihilated. The eldest Meng brother's body shook violently. He couldn't help but take 5 or 6 steps back. A trace of demonic blood flowed down from the demonic eye on his glabella. On the other hand, Mo Mingtian was as motionless as a mountain. Comparing the two, the difference between the two was obvious. The eldest Meng brother was not Mo Mingtian's opponent. This was an ironclad fact. Of course, the Meng brothers practiced a combination killing technique. If the 2 brothers joined hands, they might be able to fight against Mo Mingtian. Humph. The second brother of the Meng brothers walked forward and stood next to his eldest brother. The aura between the 2 began to superimpose, and their momentum increased exponentially. Mo Mingtian's momentum also increased. A phantom of a skull emerged from his body, bearing its fangs and claws at the Meng brothers. A great battle was about to break out. Enough. Gu Fei spoke. He glanced at the Meng brothers and Mo Mingtian, then no longer paid attention to the 3. Yes, master. The demonic might on Mo Mingtian's body immediately disappeared. The peerless great demon king instantly turned into a turtle grandson. In front of Gu Fei, he was in fear and trepidation. The Meng brothers were not much better. They were also in fear. At this time, Gu Fei had already walked towards the temple. He directly entered the temple and disappeared into the darkness inside. The temperature inside the temple was a bit low. It was like walking into an ice cave. This made Gu Fei surprised and happy. He could feel the fluctuation of divine power. Just when Gu Fei was surprised, a foot silently kicked towards his face. Swish! Gu Fei directly moved sideways and instantly dodged the kick. Huh! An exclamation sounded in the darkness. At this time, Gu Fei smiled. He was not Mo Mingtian. Wanting to kick him out? Dream on. In the darkness, a skinny hand silently grabbed towards Gu Fei. There was no trace of divine power coming from this hand. However, Gu Fei easily dodged it again. Interesting. The old voice sounded in the darkness again. Come out, Gu Fei said. A divine sense spread out from between his eyebrows. No matter where the guy was, he could feel his divine sense. However, Gu Fei couldn't help but feel shocked. After entering the temple, he couldn't feel the existence of any life. How was this possible? Could it be that someone could completely hide their aura? It seemed that only one of the 9 secrets of Immortal Path, the anti-void secret technique, could do this. In the next moment, a magic lamp lit up in the temple, dispersing the darkness inside. Gu Fei looked around and saw that the temple was empty. However, there was a painting of mountains and rivers hanging on the wall facing the entrance of the temple. It was a painting of heaven, earth, mountains, and rivers. What's going on? Gu Fei couldn't believe it. Where was the guy who attacked him? A magic lamp was floating in the temple. It was as if there was an invisible hand holding the lamp. It was very strange. Little guy, come in and have a gathering. At this time, an old voice came from the painting of mountains and rivers hanging on the wall opposite Gu Fei. What? Gu Fei looked at the painting of mountains and rivers and was shocked to find that the things drawn on the painting seemed to be real. There seemed to be the evolution of a world inside it. A world created in the painting. Seeing this, Gu Fei couldn't help but be moved. This painting was incredible. It definitely had a great background. What, you don't dare to come in? The old voice sounded again. Haha, why not? Chapter 31-32. In the depths of an ancient battlefield in the burning devil desolate domain, Gu Fei walked into the divine temple. Then, he discovered that the guy who kicked Mo Mingqian out of the divine temple was actually in a mountain-river diagram hanging on the wall. Gu Fei did not hesitate. He took a step forward and entered the mountain-river diagram. At this time, in the divine temple, a bronze divine lamp was floating, emitting a dim divine light. The soybean-sized flame looked like it could be extinguished at any time. Mo Mingqian and the others outside saw that after Gu Fei entered the divine temple actually emitted light. This made them incomparably shocked. What's going on? What happened inside? Mo Mingqian and the others were bewildered. Without Gu Fei's summon, they did not dare to barge into the divine temple rashly. It should be known that provoking Gu Fei would definitely not be good for them. However, looking through the gate of the divine temple, they could not see anything. Mo Mingqian and the others could only wait outside the divine temple. They knew that since Gu Fei dared to enter, he naturally had something to rely on. He would not easily take the risk. However, the divine temple was too quiet. There was no sound at all. Only a weak divine light flickered, and a divine aura seeped out from the divine temple. This ancient divine temple was definitely not something from the Chaos Devil world. It came from the outside world, and it was very likely that it came from the ancestral god realm back then. In the distant past, the Chaos Devil world and the ancestral god realm could still interact with each other. The living beings of the two great worlds fought against each other endlessly. This ancient relic was the best proof of that. This ancient divine temple was definitely not simple. Perhaps it was the ancestral temple of a great clan in the ancestral god realm. Because back then, there were many great clans in the ancestral god realm that attacked the Chaos Devil world. However, after that great battle, the passage between the Chaos Devil world and the ancestral god realm collapsed. The extreme path devil ancestor of the Chaos Devil world sealed that ancient battlefield. It was precisely after that great battle that the burning devil desolate domain appeared in the western region of the Chaos Devil world. It became a place that no living being dared to approach. There were extreme Dao ancestor gods and extreme Dao demon ancestors who had fallen here. Their blood essence was scattered all over this place, and the indestructible devil and divine Dao laws made this place a land of death filled with danger. But now, this place was no longer the terrifying forbidden area from before, and the power of divinity and demonic nature was already very weak. Even so, there was still something here that could destroy the great demon Venerable in an instant. When Master of Black Demon Mountain and the others cleaned up this part of the ancient battlefield that was buried underground, they caused quite a big commotion and alarmed a lot of Devil Path powerhouses in the vicinity. However, the aura exuding from the bodies of Mount Lord and the others was too powerful. The nearby demons didn't dare to approach them, and could only watch from afar. "What are Mountain Lord Mystic Demon and the others doing?" In the distant void, someone muttered to himself. In the western region of the Chaos Devil world, there were very few demons who didn't know about mysterious Devil Mountain Lord. Even the Meng brothers weren't strangers to these demons. Amo Mingtian was the #1 demon in the eastern region, and many demons in the western region had heard of his name. "Why are there always some reckless flies surrounding us?" Amo Mingtian looked around and said. "Why bother with them?" Mysterious Devil Mountain Lord said indifferently. They were the high and mighty great demon Venerables. Those demons who were watching from afar were as weak as ants in front of them. "Master's aura disappeared," Blood Devil said. "It disappeared." Amo Mingtian nodded and said. His expression was incomparably dignified. His intuition told him that Gu Fei wouldn't die so easily. Moreover, if Gu Fei died, they would be out of luck. The Meng brothers were also very nervous, and they were all staring at the open door of the temple. There was only a dim divine light coming out of the temple, and it was extremely quiet inside. No one knew what was happening inside the temple. Amo Mingtian and the others were waiting in front of the temple. At this time, Gu Fei had entered a world. To be precise, it was a world inside a painting. Hanging on the wall facing the main entrance of the temple was a painting of mountains and rivers. There was another world inside. Gu Fei was standing in this part of the world, scanning the surroundings. This was a mountain ridge without any traces of people. It was lush and full of vitality. From time to time, the sounds of birds and beasts could be heard in the mountain ridge. It was like a big world, and there was also a divine sun in the sky shining on the earth. However, Gu Fei knew that this was not a real perfect world, but a world created by someone with great magic power and divine power. This world was very big, so big that even Gu Fei's divine sense couldn't detect the end of this world. Once Gu Fei's divine sense was released, it could instantly cover hundreds of thousands of miles. In other words, this world was very big, just like a real big world. "Little guy, you really have a lot of guts!" The old voice that had appeared before was heard again. This time, Gu Fei finally sensed where the voice was coming from. Gu Fei raised his head and looked at the sky. He smiled, and in the next moment, he disappeared into the void. In the next moment, he appeared in a place shrouded in clouds and mist. There was a divine mountain floating there. An old man was sitting on the peak of the sacred mountain. This old man was dressed in animal skin, and he was smiling at Gu Fei. "What are you smiling at?" Gu Fei looked at the old man on the peak of the mountain and said unhappily. It turned out that this fellow had been hiding here and playing tricks. No wonder he couldn't sense his existence in the temple. The old man's smile immediately froze when he heard this. "Little fellow, be more polite when you speak. You must know how to respect the old and cherish the young, understand?" the old man said with a straight face. "TCH." Gu Fei gave the old man the middle finger. "In the world of cultivation, the strong are respected. I am stronger than you, so I am the boss." "Who do you think you are?" Gu Fei said disdainfully. "You are stronger than me? Ha ha!" The old man sitting on the peak of the mountain suddenly laughed, as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. The old man was very skinny, so skinny that he was just skin and bones. His eyes were deep and his forehead was high. All of his teeth had fallen out, and he only had a few strands of hair left. The old man already had one foot in the coffin, and it looked as if he would die at any moment. Given Gu Fei's level of cultivation, he was naturally able to tell that the old man was extremely weak. It seemed that the old man would not live for long even if no one did anything. "What's so funny about this?" Gu Fei looked at the old man on the peak of the mountain and said. He was very confident in his own cultivation and combat strength. How could an extremely weak old man be a match for him? "Little fellow, I am laughing at your stupidity." The old man looked at Gu Fei as if he was looking at an idiot. You are the stupid one. I would like to see what you are capable of. As Gu Fei said that, he directly slapped at the old man on the peak of the mountain. The power of chaos was vast, and a giant hand of chaos appeared in the void. The entire world was instantly enveloped by the giant hand. What? Heaven-covering hand, you are the successor of that crazy person? As soon as the old man saw Gu Fei display this martial arts technique, he was immediately taken aback, and then he stood up from the boulder he was sitting on. You can actually recognize the martial arts technique? Gu Fei was also shocked when he heard that. Could this old man be someone from the same generation as the martial ancestor? Otherwise, how could he recognize the martial arts technique created by the martial ancestor? The old man did not say anything. He directly raised his head and looked at the giant hand of chaos that was grabbing down from the sky. At the same time, a divine light rushed out from his brow. It was a divine light of destruction. Wherever the divine light passed, everything was annihilated, leaving nothing behind. Swoosh! The divine light of destruction that rushed out from the old man's brow instantly swept the giant hand of chaos that was descending from the sky. Half of the hand immediately disappeared into the void. How is this possible? Seeing this, Gu Fei was shocked. The old man was so weak that he was about to die, but he still displayed such powerful combat strength. After the divine light of destruction destroyed Gu Fei's giant hand of chaos, it did not disappear. Instead, it made a turn in the air and strangled Gu Fei. Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. He directly used the 8 desolation steps and flew into the sky with extreme speed, evading the divine light of destruction that was strangling him. However, the divine light of destruction still chased after Gu Fei. The divine light was attached with the old man's murderous intent, and it would not dissipate until blood was shed. The old man seemed to want to teach Gu Fei a lesson. Stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade. Without thinking too much, Gu Fei immediately used the chaotic secret technique, one of the 9 secrets of Immortal Path. The divine light of destruction was immediately reversed by him and strangled the old man. The old man could not help but be confused when he saw Gu Fei use this secret technique. This secret technique was clearly not a martial arts technique, but a different kind of power. Swoosh! The old man's brow emitted a dazzling divine light, and the divine light of destruction that was strangling him immediately flew back into the old man's brow. Young man, you really surprised me. The old man smiled happily. He then pounced at Gu Fei, and a ball of divine light spread from his body. The void that was enveloped by the divine light was distorting and changing shape. What? Gu Fei moved his feet and instantly dodged. However, no matter how fast he was, his left shoulder was still swept by the divine light that erupted from the old man's body. He only felt pain where the divine light swept past, and a piece of flesh on his left shoulder actually disappeared. This made him inexplicably shocked. If he had been enveloped by that divine light, wouldn't he have been directly obliterated? Chapter 31-33. After Gu Fei entered the landscape diagram, he finally found out who was playing tricks in the temple. It was an old man dressed in animal skin. He was so old that all his hair and teeth had fallen out. To be precise, it was an ancient god. This old man had been trapped in the landscape diagram for who knows how long. He was already extremely weak, like a skeleton in human skin. However, such a weak ancient god was able to injure Gu Fei with a single move. The divine light of destruction from the ancient god's body swept across Gu Fei's left shoulder. A piece of flesh was immediately cut off. Blood flowed and even his bones were exposed. Gu Fei stood in the void, staring at the ancient god draped in beast skin in front of him. He couldn't help but feel shaken. This was the first time in decades that he had been injured by a deity powerhouse when fighting a deity. Kid, you're not simple. Come, let's have some fun. The ancient god grinned, revealing his neat white teeth. He then pounced at Gu Fei again. A ball of divine light radiated from his body. The divine light of destruction exploded. The void around the ancient god was annihilated silently. Ancient divine inscriptions appeared and intertwined in the divine light. Humph! This time around, Gu Fei did not dare to be careless. A ball of chaotic divine light surged from his body. Then, he threw a punch at the ancient god who was charging towards him. Rumble! As soon as Gu Fei attacked, the entire void trembled under his fist. Pitch-black spatial cracks appeared in the void and spread out like black lightning. The chaotic force was vast, but the power of Gu Fei's punch shook the surroundings. However, when the powerful force collided with the ball of divine light that had erupted from the ancient god's body, it was instantly reduced by a large half. What? Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. The ancient god's divine light of destruction was really powerful and terrifying. It could actually obliterate his chaotic force. He found it hard to believe. Ever since he cultivated the body of a quasi-supreme, he rarely encountered such a situation. At this time, the ancient god also threw a punch at Gu Fei. The divine light emitted from the skinny fist was much brighter than the divine sun in the sky. At this moment, Gu Fei felt his entire body heat up, as if his qi and blood were about to be ignited. The divine light actually penetrated his protective chaotic divine light and shone on his body. Boom! The two fists collided in an instant, like two divine mountains colliding. The power that erupted from the two fists immediately tore and shattered the surrounding void. At this time, Gu Fei only felt a pain in his hand. His fist was actually melted by the divine light that erupted from the ancient god's fist. The ancient god's divine light of destruction corroded his arm. In just a short while, his arm disappeared again, like ice and snow. Damn it! Gu Fei roared and instantly retreated. He used the 8 desolation steps and displayed his extreme speed. In an instant, he distanced himself from the ancient god. Little guy, you are not bad. Haha, do you want to be my disciple? The ancient god did not chase after him. He actually stood in the void and smiled at Gu Fei. What? Hearing the ancient god's words, Gu Fei could not help but be stunned. At this time, his cloud finger was like a sword. He waved his left hand and directly cut off his right arm. But in the next moment, his right arm grew back. Haha, you want to take me as your disciple? Did I hear wrongly? Gu Fei said with a laugh. With my identity, I am qualified to be your master. The ancient god did not think much of it, and said very seriously. Do you think you are a supreme? Are you really a supreme? Gu Fei stared at the ancient god in shock and said. A heavenly eye emerged from between his eyebrows. When the heavenly eye opened, divine patterns of the great path intertwined and a beam of light directly spread out from the heavenly eye. What's going on? Gu Fei was shocked again because even though he used the heavenly eye of martial arts, he still could not see through the ancient god. The beam of light from the heavenly eye flashed past, and he could not see anything at all. Why, are you willing to be my disciple? The ancient god said. Be your head. So what if you are a supreme? I don't want to be your disciple. Gu Fei said coldly. It was impossible for him to change to Shinto. Could it be that this guy wanted to find a way to destroy his cultivation? Thinking of this, he immediately became vigilant. If you don't want to, then forget it. Then I won't be polite. The ancient god shook his head and said, Tisk, do you think you have teeth? Gu Fei said disdainfully. Even if the other party was a divine supreme, he was only a half-dead divine supreme. This ancient deity had once been grievously wounded. Although he was not dead yet, he had lost 95% of his cultivation base. What did you say? The ancient god said in confusion. He did not understand the meaning behind Gu Fei's words. You don't even know this? I am afraid that you will bite me, stupid, Gu Fei said, trying hard not to laugh. You little guy, I will let you know the price of not respecting your elders. When the ancient god heard this, his nose became crooked. He roared and stretched out his right hand, directly grabbing at Gu Fei. His skinny fingers were very long and slender, as if he wanted to grasp the whole world in his hand. This time, there was no blinding divine light. There was only the power of the great path divine law exploding. This was a type of law power. The ancient god's seemingly casual grab actually displayed a law that made people's hearts palpitate. The power of the great path divine law instantly spread out from the skinny hand and enveloped the entire void. Naturally, it also enveloped Gu Fei on the opposite side. Heaven punishing sword! Without hesitation, Gu Fei immediately displayed the sword Dao killing technique, the 9 heaven punishing swords. A sword light rushed out from his body and slashed at the ancient god's hand. Clang! The heaven punishing sword light slashed at the ancient god's hand and made a metallic sound. The ancient god's hand actually blocked Gu Fei's heaven punishing sword light. What made Gu Fei even more shocked was that the ancient god's hand actually broke his heaven punishing sword light and directly grabbed at Gu Fei. How dare you! Gu Fei roared out furiously. In the next moment, he disappeared into the void. This was a secret technique, one of the 9 secrets of the immortal way. It allowed him to directly enter the void and move through it. However, the ancient god's hand only trembled slightly, and a figure fell out of the void. What? Gu Fei was filled with disbelief. After all, he had used the 9 secrets of the immortal way. How did this guy break through his secret techniques so easily? Little fella, I'll let you know that your so-called supreme divine ability is nothing in front of a true supreme being. As the ancient god said that, he grabbed the shocked Gu Fei and closed his fingers. Immediately, the sound of bones breaking rang out from Gu Fei's body. Roar! Gu Fei roared furiously. Powerful chaotic energy erupted from his body. 9 runes of the great path of chaos vaguely appeared, radiating with the power of the great path of chaos. He wanted to push away the ancient god's hand. However, no matter how hard he struggled, there was only one result. The ancient god's hand tightened, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard from his body. Even Gu Fei himself did not know how many bones in his body were still intact. Buzz! Just as the ancient god was feeling extremely pleased, a rumble came from Gu Fei's body. Then, the shadow of an ancient cauldron appeared from his body. The ancient cauldron actually pushed the ancient god's hand away. What? The ancient god could not help but be astonished. A supreme aura of the extreme path erupted from this kid's body. This shocked him inexplicably. An extreme path Tao artifact? The ancient god muttered to himself. His eyes lit up. An extreme path Tao artifact was the most powerful Tao artifact in the world. Even he was envious of it. At this time, Gu Fei rushed out from the ancient god's hand. Cauldron suppresses mountains and rivers. Without hesitation, Gu Fei used the power of the cauldron of mountains and rivers to protect himself. As expected, the ancient god's hand was immediately pushed away. Then, an ancient cauldron appeared between heaven and earth. It directly suppressed the ancient god. Terrifying chaotic primordial energy erupted from the ancient cauldron. What? This is... The ancient god was inexplicably shocked. Even someone as powerful as him did not dare to be careless at this time. This was the chaotic primordial energy. The entire void seemed to have frozen. He directly shattered the void and instantly escaped thousands of miles away. The appearance of the chaotic primordial energy shocked him. It should be known that this was the ancestral chi of the world. Everything in the world evolved from this most primitive ancestral chi. Rumble! The heavens and earth shook. The ancient cauldron actually chased after the ancient god. Chaotic primordial energy descended from the ancient cauldron, suppressing in all directions. The ancient god was inexplicably shocked. He opened his mouth and spat out a ball of divine fire towards the ancient cauldron. However, the ball of divine fire was directly destroyed by the chaotic primordial energy that rushed out from the ancient cauldron. It did not pose a threat to the ancient cauldron at all. Haha, weren't you very arrogant just now? You can't be arrogant anymore. You even wanted to take me as your disciple. Why are you running now? Gu Fei stepped on the cauldron of mountains and rivers and charged towards the ancient god. Chaotic primordial energy surged from his body. It was as if an invincible chaotic war god had appeared between heaven and earth. Kid, if not for my injuries, even if you use an extreme path Tao artifact, I can still capture you. Chapter 31-34. Within the world of the mountain and river diagram, Gu Fei fought against the ancient god. The ancient god was so strong that Gu Fei had no choice but to use the mountain and river cauldron. Gu Fei knew that the ancient god was probably a supreme ancestral god. Even though he was extremely weak, he could still defeat him. If not for the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, he would have been in big trouble. The fact that the ancient god could survive in the world of the mountain and river diagram was enough to show how strong and terrifying he was. Rumble! The void shook. Gu Fei stepped on the mountain and river cauldron and chased after the ancient god. The primordial chaos energy that erupted from the mountain and river cauldron shook the entire world of the mountain and river diagram. "Little guy, don't push me too far," the ancient god said as he fled. This was his territory. If he wanted to escape, even if Gu Fei used the power of the mountain and river cauldron, he would not be able to catch up. "Haha, weren't you very strong just now? Now you know how strong I am." Gu Fei laughed heartily. "Little guy, don't be too proud. This is my territory after all." The ancient god gritted his teeth and said. This guy was too despicable. Just because he had a supreme Tao weapon to protect himself, he was unscrupulous. This was his territory. 1. Gu Fei did not say anything. He directly activated the mountain and river cauldron. A stream of primordial chaos energy rushed out from the mountain and river cauldron and turned into a huge dragon, pouncing towards the ancient god. "What?" The ancient god was shocked. He quickly turned around and punched. The divine light of destruction exploded on his fist. His fist was as dazzling as a divine Sunday boom. With a loud bang, the ancient god's fist smashed onto the head of the chaos primordial dragon, and the two powerful forces collided. The void between the two of them was annihilated. The ripples of power that spread out directly shattered the surrounding mountains into dust and dissipated in the void. Rumble! This wave of power descended from the sky, causing the entire ground to sink. Dust rose up from the cracked ground, as if doomsday had arrived. Without any suspense, the ancient god was sent flying tens of thousands of feet away by the huge dragon. Divine blood seeped out of his fist and dripped down. That was ancestral god blood. A single drop could kill a half-supreme being. A single drop could also turn into a boundless sea of blood. However, before the drop of ancestral god's blood could land on the ground, it turned into a blood mist in midair and soared into the sky before entering the ancient god's body. When one's cultivation reached the level of an ancient god, it was impossible for one's blood essence to be lost unless they suffered a special attack. Roar! The primordial chaos chi dragon was not destroyed by the ancient god's punch. It was only sent flying before it pounced on the ancient god again. Above the great dragon, chaos runes appeared and wove together, exuding a powerful primordial chaos energy. Preposterous! It's really a case of a tiger being bullied by a dog. The ancient god was extremely depressed. He turned around and fled again because he was already extremely weak and couldn't consume any more divine origin energy. Otherwise, he might really die here. In the ancient war, the ancient god suffered unimaginable damage and almost died. He could only hide in the mountain and river diagram, struggling at death's door. Countless years had passed, but the ancient god's wounded body still hadn't recovered. He could only live half dead and stubbornly held on until the present, until he met Gu Fei. If it wasn't for mysterious demon mountain lord and the others digging out the primordial ruins, the ancient god would have been buried underground, hiding in the mountain and river diagram. Although there were countless living beings in the mountain and river diagram, just like a real big world, the living beings here were very weak. There wasn't even an immortal god. As long as the ancient god was willing, he could kill all the living beings in this world. A ray of divine light swept past the endless mountains. Behind this figure was a huge dragon that chased after the ray of divine light. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky, causing countless living beings in the mountains to be extremely terrified. Behind the great dragon, there was a figure standing on a big cauldron, chasing after it at a moderate pace. Although this world was big, it was not a real big world. It didn't take long for the ancient god to reach the end of this world. In front of him was the primordial chaos zone. There were earth, water, fire, wind, and the most primitive power of the world intertwining, exuding a terrifying power of destruction. Damn it! The ancient god was really desperate this time. If he rushed into the primordial chaos zone, even he would be lost in it, and it would be impossible for him to come out again. Ha ha, let's see where you can run to now. Gu Fei laughed loudly. He instantly chased after the ancient god. A great dragon circled around him, exuding a vast and mighty power of primordial chaos. This great dragon was like a real primordial beast. The battle strength it displayed was enough to compete with the ancient god. This was Gu Fei's biggest trump card. Little guy, aren't you afraid that I will fight to the death? The ancient god calmed down at this time. Although he was extremely weak, he still had the strength to fight. A supreme ancestor god fighting to the death was something that even a true supreme ancestor god would be afraid of. Let's fight to the death. Who's afraid of who? Gu Fei said proudly. Very well, I hope you won't regret it. The ancient god stared at Gu Fei, who was standing opposite him. Then, a surge of divine might immediately radiated from his body. The ancient god's skinny body actually became sturdy and his body underwent a shocking change. His old body was rapidly becoming younger. Black hair grew on his head. Time seemed to be flowing in reverse. The ancient god was transforming towards his peak state. This is... Gu Fei was shocked at this scene. What's wrong with this guy? Is he really going to recover to his peak state? If that's the case, it's my turn to run. Little guy, you forced me to do this. The ancient god stared at Gu Fei and said in a deep voice. The vast and mighty aura from his body became stronger and stronger. The entire heaven and earth shook as if it was going to collapse. Kill! Gu Fei roared furiously and activated the power of the cauldron of mountain and river. The huge dragon circling around him immediately charged towards the ancient god in front of him. However, a scene that shocked Gu Fei happened. The ancient god stretched out his right hand and grabbed the head of the great dragon. Then, he exerted force and with a bang, the dragon's head exploded. Then, the entire body of the dragon exploded. What? Gu Fei quickly retreated, distancing himself from the ancient god. How dare you! You caused me to waste my spiritual energy. I will suppress you for 10,000 years. The ancient god roared and took a step forward. At this time, his aura had risen to its peak state. He directly reached out and grabbed at Gu Fei. The extreme divine power was vast and mighty. Gu Fei only felt his body tighten. He was actually imprisoned by the mighty power of the ancient god's huge hand. However, in the next moment, the mountain and river cauldron beneath his feet let out a rumble and a wave of primordial chaos power surged out from the mountain and river cauldron, blocking the ancient god's extreme divine power. Gu Fei immediately felt his body loosen up, and the powerful pressure disappeared in an instant. What a powerful extreme Tao weapon! The ancient god said in shock. At this time, the shadow of a huge cauldron emerged from the mountain and river cauldron and blocked the ancient god's huge hand. The two extreme Tao powers collided. The void was like a thin piece of paper, instantly tearing it apart. This time, the power of the mountain and river cauldron did not send the ancient god flying. At this time, the ancient god was extremely powerful. It was as if he had really recovered to his peak state. His black hair danced in the wind. He was tall and mighty. When his eyes opened and closed, rays of light shot out from the gaps of his eyes, piercing through the void. This was a middle-aged man. He was extremely powerful and displayed an invincible demeanor. Extreme Tao rhymes rushed out from his body. Endless divine light lit up the entire heaven and earth. In the void, divine light intertwined. It was as if the divine sound of the great Tao was ringing. Oh no! Gu Fei never expected that this guy would turn out like this after being forced into a corner. This guy definitely had some kind of secret technique that could allow him to recover to his peak state. This was an extreme Tao ancestor god. Even if Yi Futian had the mountain and river cauldron, it would not be enough. How could a real Extreme Tao Supreme be compared to an Extreme Tao artifact? Although the Supreme Tao weapon was powerful, it was only a Tao weapon refined by an Extreme Tao supremacy. Since an Extreme Tao supremacy could refine an Extreme Tao weapon, it meant that he could destroy it. Haha. Little fellow, surrender obediently, said the ancient god with a loud laugh. At this moment, the ancient god seemed to have truly transformed into a supreme being of the divine way. His divine power was vast and mighty, as if he could destroy the entire world with just a wave of his hand. Humph. We'll talk after we fight. Gu Fei did not say anything else. At this time, he could only fight. His fighting intent was like a rainbow, and the power of chaos on his body was vast. At the same time, a shadow rushed out of the mountain and river cauldron and entered his body. Kid, you're really something. You actually dared to provoke an Extreme Tao Supreme. I really admire you from the bottom of my heart. An impatient voice rang in Gu Fei's mind. Haha, you awakened just in time. Gu Fei laughed. The shadow that rushed into his body was the cauldron soul of the mountain and river cauldron. He did not expect the cauldron soul of the mountain and river cauldron to awaken at this time. In this way, he became more confident. An extreme Tao aura immediately spread out from Gu Fei's body. Although this extreme Tao aura was not particularly powerful, it was worthy of the name. This is... When the ancient god saw this, his eyes immediately lit up. There were extreme Tao divine runes intertwining in his eyes. Soon, he could see through Gu Fei's body. Artifact soul? Chapter 31-35. Borrow the power of your extreme Tao to fight with that guy. The voice of the cauldron soul rang out in Gu Fei's mind. Then, the voice fell silent. At this time, Gu Fei felt a powerful force erupting from his body. His martial body could not withstand this force. However, the Tao patterns formed by the primordial chaos power appeared in his body. They were imprinted on his martial body and sealed it. Roar! Gu Fei roared into the sky. The terrifying power of the extreme Tao erupted from his body. His hair danced wildly and his flesh and bones trembled. Under his skin, there seemed to be worms wriggling. This was a sign that the extreme Tao essence Qi was circulating rapidly in his body. Interesting. The ancient god opposite Gu Fei sneered when he saw this. So what if Gu Fei attracted the power of the extreme Tao artifact? Was he still a match for him? He was not in a hurry to attack. He was curious to see how strong Gu Fei would become after he used the extreme Tao artifact. You shouldn't have given me a chance to breathe. Being too confident has turned into arrogance. Gu Fei suddenly grinned as he stared at the ancient god opposite him. Is that so? The ancient god smiled and did not say anything else. Boom! At this time, Gu Fei stepped on the mountain and river cauldron and attacked the ancient god. 9 primordial chaos dragons rushed out of the mountain and river cauldron and pounced at the ancient god. The terrifying power of the extreme Tao exploded from the dragons, and the void instantly collapsed. The ancient god laughed out loud and stretched out his hand. In an instant, his hand covered the entire void, trapping the 9 dragons within it. Rumble! The ancient god's hand collided with the 9 dragons. The 2 forces of the extreme Tao exploded. The extreme Tao divine pattern and the primordial chaos Tao pattern intertwined and destroyed each other. Gu Fei only felt a force colliding with him, and he was immediately sent flying backwards along with the cauldron. The ancient god didn't have it easy either. He was also sent flying by the power of the 9 dragons. The 9 dragons then dissipated in the void. What? The ancient god was indescribably shocked. This extreme Tao artifact was not simple, it could actually contend against him. Could it be the legendary extreme Tao artifact? I don't believe it! The primordial god was enraged. Countless extreme Tao divine laws rushed out of his body. Clanging sounds rang out as extreme Tao divine laws rushed out of his body and pierced towards Gu Fei. Heaven-covering palm! Gu Fei roared in anger. He slammed his right hand forward, and the divine chain laws instantly pierced through his chaotic giant hand, and then directly penetrated his martial body. A blood-red light appeared, and the divine chains of law vibrated. Powerful extreme divine power erupted from the divine chains, wanting to shatter Gu Fei's physical body. Buzz! Gu Fei's eyes were like lightning. He waved his right hand. An extremely sharp sky-punishing sword light rushed out of his hand, instantly cutting the extreme Tao divine chains. Gu Fei's body shook, and the extreme Tao divine laws that were stuck in his body flew out, and then shattered in the void. The extreme Tao divine power was mighty, and the wounds on Gu Fei's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, his body looked as if it had never been injured, and not even a scar was left. At this moment, a fist appeared in front of Gu Fei. Without a second thought, Gu Fei reached out with his right hand and instantly grabbed the fist. He was about to pull it back and throw the other party away when he saw the fist. This was a combat technique for close combat. However, Gu Fei could not use the next move because he only felt his hand sink. The opponent was like an immemorial divine mountain, and he could not move at all. At this moment, the opponent's fist shook, and Gu Fei's palm was shaken away. Then, he opened his 5 fingers, and with a backhand he grabbed Gu Fei's wrist. The ancient god's combat experience was extremely rich, but he could not move Gu Fei, because Gu Fei's legs seemed to be grown on the mountain and river cauldron, and he could not move him at all. Roar! The 2 experts roared at the same time, and the extreme Tao divine power was mighty, wanting to pull the other over, but no one could move the other, and it was a stalemate. The 2 kinds of extreme Tao divine powers were constantly colliding, and constantly obliterating each other, wanting to completely overwhelm the other. The extreme Tao divine patterns and the extreme chaos primordial Tao patterns were constantly vanishing in the void. Little guy, how about we call it a draw? Let's stop here, the ancient god said. He could not continue like this, because his time was limited, and he could not maintain this peak state. Once the time was over, he would be beaten back to his original state, and at that time, he would be in big trouble. Haha, why are you afraid? If you are afraid, then beg for mercy. Gu Fei laughed and said. Rumble. The entire void in the mountain and river diagram was shaking, the sky was trembling, the earth was sinking, and terrifying spatial cracks were constantly appearing in the void. The entire heaven and earth in the mountain and river diagram seemed to be collapsing. Countless living beings in the heaven and earth of the mountain and river diagram were terrified to the extreme. This was the omen of the destruction of heaven and earth. Humph, I have never been afraid of anyone, I just don't want to destroy this extreme Tao artifact. The ancient god said coldly. Mountain and river diagram? Hearing this, Gu Fei could not help but be stunned. He naturally knew what the ancient god was talking about. The void they were in now was the inner world of this extreme Tao artifact. At this moment, the ancient god actually began to attract the power of the mountain and river diagram. An endless power of the extreme Tao gathered from all directions and entered his body. Seeing this, Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. The power of the other party was constantly increasing, and the power of the entire void seemed to be gathering towards the other party. With the power of the mountain and river diagram on his body, the ancient god's aura was constantly increasing, and divine chains of laws rushed out from his body, entangling Gu Fei. Buzz! The mountain and river cauldron under Gu Fei's feet vibrated, and then the ancient cauldron turned into a divine light, rushing into Gu Fei's body. The mountain and river cauldron fused with Gu Fei, and Gu Fei's aura was also increasing, and the shadow of an ancient cauldron appeared on his body, blocking the divine chains of laws. This entanglement is not good for either of us. The ancient god stared at Gu Fei and continued. It's impossible to stop just like this. How about this, you give me the mountain and river diagram, and I will stop, Gu Fei said. What? Hearing this, the ancient god was both shocked and angry, and his eyes lit up like cold stars. There was a brilliant divine light rushing out from his eyes, and no one dared to look at him directly. If you agree, then stop. If not, then continue, Gu Fei said, and his tone was very determined. Since he had already started, how could he stop so easily? No matter what, he had to get some benefits. All right. Let's do that. The ancient god was very straightforward, and after a short pause he agreed. You should have done this long ago, Gu Fei said disapprovingly. Then, the two of them started to stop, and finally retreated at the same time. The younger generation will surpass us in time. The ancient god looked at Gu Fei with a complicated expression. He did not expect Gu Fei to use this method to fight against him. This was a different kind of battle. It's not that the younger generation will surpass us in time, it's just that your time has passed. Gu Fei looked at the ancient god and said calmly, It's my time. Hearing Gu Fei's words, the ancient god was in a daze, as if he was recalling the time when experts were everywhere, and how awe-inspiring, domineering, and powerful he was. But now, thinking of his current situation, the light in the ancient god's eyes dimmed. His current situation was definitely tragic. If everything had not happened in the past, he would not have ended up like this. Perhaps, he would still be living happily in the ancestral god realm. Hey, stop daydreaming. The mountain-river diagram, why aren't you handing it over to me? Gu Fei said. His voice woke up the ancient god who was still in a daze. Mountain and river diagram? Oh, the mountain and river diagram! The ancient god came back to his senses and said, Yes, the mountain and river diagram, hurry up and give it to me. Gu Fei said, This guy does not seem to be reliable. I can't give it to you now. The ancient god looked at Gu Fei and said, What? Hearing this, Gu Fei was immediately scared. This guy dares to trick me? A strong fighting spirit immediately erupted from his body. It's not that I don't want to give it to you, but you should think about where we are now. The ancient god said helplessly. This? Gu Fei was stunned. They were still in the mountain and river diagram, and the ancient god could not give him the mountain and river diagram. At least, they had to get out of the mountain and river diagram first. At this moment, the aura of extreme Tao disappeared, and the entire world stabilized. All right, let's go out, Gu Fei said. This mountain and river diagram was an extreme Tao tool. He was also very jealous and wanted to get his hands on it as soon as possible. Go out? Those two lunatics are still outside. We'll die if we go out, the ancient god said with some lingering fear. If he did not have the mountain and river diagram, he would have died long ago. No one could save him. Back then, the two lunatics fought crazily. The ancient god did not know the final result because he was heavily injured and retreated into the mountain and river diagram. What two fellas? Could it be the two extreme Tao ancestral god and extreme Tao demonic ancestor? Gu Fei said in a low voice. It's those two lunatics. The ancient god nodded and said. He had sensed the aura of the two great supremes outside, so he had been hiding in the mountain and river diagram. Chapter 31-36. The ancient god hiding in the mountain and river diagram did not know that the two madmen had perished together, so he had not left the mountain and river diagram. The two have fallen. You don't need to worry anymore. You can go out now, Gu Fei said. What? The two madmen have fallen? The ancient god could not help but be shocked when he heard the news. The two madmen were peerless experts who stood at the peak of the chaos demonic world and the ancestral god realm. Even the ancient gods weren't a match for them, so how could these great perfection extreme grade supremes fall? One had to know that that was an undying existence. Gu Fei nodded. Ha ha! The ancient god laughed crazily. The two guys were actually dead. The most powerful existences in the chaos demonic world and the ancestral god realm were actually dead. This was definitely a good thing for the ancient god because he no longer had anything to fear. He could leave this place. Although the world in the mountain and river diagram was very big, it was like a prison for the ancient god. Hiding here and enduring endless loneliness almost drove him crazy. We can finally go out. The ancient god let out a long sigh and said, All right, let's go out. Gu Fei directly shattered the void and rushed out of the mountain and river diagram. The extreme power he borrowed was not taken back by the mountain and river cauldron. At this time, the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others who were waiting outside the temple were a little anxious because Gu Fei had entered the temple for a long time, and there was still no sign of him coming out. Just as the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others were about to enter the temple to check, a powerful aura suddenly spread out from the temple. The light from the temple became even weaker, as if it could be extinguished at any time. The entire temple actually shook. On the ancient walls, ancient divine runes were faintly discernible. The mysterious demon mountain lord and the others who were about to enter the temple were shocked. The aura from the temple was so powerful that it made their souls tremble. What's going on? The faces of Black Demon Mountain Master and the others changed greatly. Their bodies trembled in fear, and it seemed as if they couldn't even stand steadily. However, in the next moment, the mighty aura emanating from the temple disappeared into the void. Mountain Master Mystic Demon and the others heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, a figure walked out of the temple. Master? When Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others saw the figure walking out of the temple, they were immediately overjoyed. That was because this person was their master, Gu Fei. After Gu Fei walked out of the temple, another person walked out. To be exact, it was an old man. A very weak old man. When Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others saw this old man, they couldn't help but be startled. Who was this guy? It actually followed its master out of the temple. No one would have thought that there would be living creatures in such an ancient temple. Furthermore, this temple had been buried underground for countless years. Now, such a creature had actually walked out of this temple. How could Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others not be shocked? How is this possible? Mo Mingtian was even more dumbfounded. He could sense a familiar aura from this old man. It was this old man who had kicked him out of the temple. Blood Devil and the Ming brothers were also dumbfounded. Who was this old man? Could it be that he was a super antique that had lived to this day? Let me get to know you. This guy is called. I say, what's your name? Gu Fei turned around and asked the ancient god behind him. At this time, he realized that he still didn't know this guy's name. Sam K. The ancient god was somewhat speechless. Yes. This guy is Tsang Quebec. I heard that he is an ancient god. But recently, there have been many people who claim to be ancient gods swindling people. I don't know whether this guy is an ancient god or not. Gu Fei shrugged and said, What? Ancient god? Although Gu Fei said it in a relaxed manner, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were shocked once again. This old guy was actually an ancient god. The way Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others looked at Tsung Kei changed. They stared at the old man with vigilance and nervousness. One must know that the demons and the divine race were archenemies. It was hard to say whether this ancient god would attack them or not. They didn't dare to underestimate this seemingly weak old man. Don't be so nervous. I'm too lazy to deal with you little guys. Ancient God Sun Kei said with a smile. What? Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were speechless after hearing Ancient God Sun Kei's words. They were the great devil Venerable level of the demons. How could they become little guys in front of this old man? Alright, don't scare these juniors. Gu Fei glanced helplessly at the seemingly harmless ancient god Sun Kei beside him. This guy seemed to be very playful. The moment he appeared, he scared the hell out of Black Demon Mountain Lord and the others. Hand over the mountain and river diagram! Gu Fei stretched out his hand towards Sun Quebec. Little guy, don't be impatient. Young people are too impatient and impetuous. You'll be at a disadvantage. Ancient God Sun Kei turned around and talked about Gu Fei. At the same time, he waved his hand at the temple behind him. A scroll immediately flew out of the temple and landed in his hand. Just as the scroll flew out of the godly temple, there was a loud bang. The godly temple that had existed for who knew how many years immediately collapsed. Smoke and dust filled the air. The smoke and dust couldn't touch Gu Fei and the others because there was an invisible aura around them. The smoke and dust couldn't float in at all. Mountain and river diagram, I'll give it to you, Ancient God Sun Ke was very straightforward. He directly handed the scroll to Gu Fei. Gu Fei naturally didn't stand on ceremony. He directly snatched the scroll and opened it. A powerful aura immediately spread out from the mountain and river diagram. In the next moment, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others screamed in shock. They flew out at the same time and rolled on the ground. Their faces were covered in dust, and they looked extremely embarrassed. This is... Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others climbed up from the ground and looked at the diagram in Gu Fei's hand in horror. This diagram was actually the legendary mountain and river diagram? Just the aura emitted from the diagram was enough to send them flying. This diagram was absolutely incredible. At least, no demonic tool refined by a great demon lord would have such a powerful force. Didn't this mountain and river diagram disappear for countless years? Why is it here? Mo Mingtian had been cultivating for a long time. Naturally, he knew many secrets of the world. The mountain and river diagram was an extreme Tao tool of the ancestral god realm. Once this mountain and river diagram was unfolded, it could absorb a large area of the world. Its power was incomparably powerful. The Meng brothers were also very nervous. The aura emitted from the mountain and river diagram in their master's hand was too powerful. It was not something they could withstand. Of course, this was just a wisp of aura emitted from the mountain and river diagram. If the mountain and river diagram were to recover, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others wouldn't be directly sent flying. Their body and soul would be directly destroyed. No one could predict the power of a supreme Tao tool. Even the most powerful quasi-supreme, or a great demon lord, was just an ant in front of a supreme Tao tool. Haha, very good! Gu Fei laughed, and put away the mountain and river diagram in his hand. The terrifying aura immediately disappeared. At this time, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others heaved a sigh of relief and slowly walked over from afar. The shock that the diagram gave them was too great. There is nothing I need here. Let's go to the eastern domain, Gu Fei said after putting away the mountain and river diagram. Wait. Ancient God Sun Ke suddenly felt something and said, I didn't expect that. The power of those two guys still hasn't disappeared. Very good, haha, the heavens are really helping me. Sun Ke suddenly laughed after sensing for a while. You want to? Gu Fei suddenly thought of something and couldn't help but be startled. Could it be that this guy wants the demon eye and the ancestor god's heart? I had some scruples when they were alive, but now... The ancient god Sun Ke smiled. Then, his figure suddenly disappeared into the void. Other than Gu Fei, no one else could see how he had left. Gu Fei shook his head and then waved his hand. A ball of divine light immediately wrapped around Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others. Then, he took a step forward and directly disappeared into the void along with Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the ancestor god's heart. In the next moment, Gu Fei brought Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others to the depths of an uninhabited area. They landed on a mountain peak, and the opposite side was the place where the demon eye and the ancestor god's heart were fighting. The demon eye of annihilation emitted a terrifying demon light of annihilation that pierced through the ancestor god's heart. Everywhere the demon light of annihilation passed, the void was annihilated. A terrifying demonic aura spread out, and even the great demon Venerable level demons would be afraid. The demon light emitted from the demon eye of annihilation could easily kill a great demon Venerable level existence, and even a powerful forbidden weapon could be destroyed. However, the ancestor god's heart was also extremely powerful. It was a beating heart, and every time it beat, it would emit a powerful fluctuation. The demon light of annihilation pierced through the ancestor god's heart, and a ball of dazzling divine light bloomed from the demon eye and the ancestor god's heart. At that moment, ancient god Sun Ke directly rushed between the demon eye and the ancestor god's heart, and then used a great divine ability to devour the demon eye and the ancestor god's heart's power. However, the demon eye of annihilation immediately broke through the void and escaped, disappearing in an instant. It was the same for the ancestral god's heart. The ancestral god's heart shattered the void and escaped. Although ancient god Sun Ke attacked with all his strength, he could not stop the demon eye of annihilation and the ancestor god's heart. The demon eye and the ancestor god's heart escaped. How dare you! Chapter 31-37. Sung K wanted to devour the demon eye of annihilation and the heart of the ancestor god to recover some energy, but he didn't expect them to be so slippery and escape. Actually, it's not difficult for you to recover your energy. There are still some super antiques in the primal chaos demon realm that haven't died yet. Gu Fei came to Sung K's side and said, "That's right." Sung K couldn't help but nod. In the next moment, an unbelievably powerful divine sense spread from his body and enveloped half of the western region. Found it! Sung K's skull-like face revealed a sinister smile, then he took a step forward and disappeared into the void. In the next moment, he arrived at a place filled with demonic energy. Gu Fei smiled and waved his sleeves, wrapping up Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others and disappearing into the void as well. He had followed Sung K to a place. This is... Mystic Demon Mountain Lord's expression changed drastically when he saw the place. The ancestral land of the Falling Moon Demon Palace? Mo Mingtian sized up his surroundings and immediately cried out in surprise. Demonic energy soared into the sky in front of him. Under the vast demonic energy was a huge valley. At the entrance of the valley stood two towering mountains, each of which exuded a powerful demonic aura. There were actually two gigantic beast silhouettes crouching on the peaks of those two mountains. They were shaped like crocodiles, but they had bone wings on their backs. Are those bone-winged demonic crocodiles? Mo Mingtian asked in shock. Ancient demonic beasts. I didn't expect the Falling Moon Demon Palace to have two bone-winged demonic crocodiles guarding the mountain gate. The Meng brothers were equally shocked. At this moment, Sung K was standing in front of the Falling Moon Demon Palace's mountain gate, staring coldly into the mountain gate. The two bone-winged demonic crocodiles crouching on the peaks of the two mountains didn't dare to move. They were extremely terrified and didn't dare to attack the ancient god at all. The aura emitted by ancient god Sung K was way too strong. Even though he was extremely weak, that was only when compared to an extreme Tao Supreme Being. Even if he couldn't move his fingers, a single killing intent could shatter the primordial spirit of a great devil Venerable, turning him into a walking corpse. A supreme divine being of the ancestral god realm? At this moment, an aged voice resounded from the valley ahead. After that, the demonic energy in the sky above the valley surged and condensed into a demonic figure. Hiding your head but showing your tail, come out! The primordial god Sung K did not come here to play around. He wanted to recover his vitality and return to the ancestral god realm. The fastest way to recover vitality was to devour everything. This was a common method used by the demons. Now, the ancient god Sung K was also using this method to recover his exhausted vitality. As Sung K spoke, he stretched out his skinny right hand and grabbed forward. The endless demonic aura that shrouded the sky above the valley immediately gathered towards him crazily. The demonic figure that was condensed from the demonic aura immediately disappeared into the void. The demonic aura that gathered towards Sung K was directly devoured by his body. Demonic aura was also a type of vitality. Sung K's skinny body was like a bottomless black hole. In an instant, he completely devoured the demonic aura that shrouded the sky above the valley in front of him. Divine aura and demonic aura could be converted into each other. Of course, those who could convert demonic aura were definitely not weak. Only the strong had such a method. Naturally, Gu Fei could convert demonic aura into the most primitive vitality, which he could then absorb and refine for his own use. You! The ancient voice from the valley in front of them sounded again. The existence in the valley seemed to have guessed what the ancient god Sung K was going to do. The ancient god Sung K chuckled. Then, his outstretched right hand suddenly shook and a transparent ripple spread out from his hand. The transparent ripple spread, and in the next moment, the two demonic bone-winged crocodiles on the demon mountains beside the Falling Moon Devil Palace were instantly turned into two clouds of blood mist. Cracks began to appear on the two demon mountains, as if they would collapse at any moment. Seeing this scene, the Black Demon Mountain Lord and the others finally realized that this extremely weak old man who looked like he was about to die was actually so powerful and terrifying. The two demonic bone-winged crocodiles guarding the mountain gate were ancient species that could fight against the great demon Venerable. However, their bodies and souls were instantly destroyed just like that. Seeing this, Gufei smiled and did not say anything. At this moment, he had already fused with the mountain and river cauldron and borrowed the power of the mountain and river cauldron, so he was not afraid of the ancient god Sun Quebec. Just as the transparent ripple from the ancient god Sun Kei's hand was about to spread into the valley behind the demon mountains, there was a rumble in the void. Countless demonic inscriptions appeared in the void, and a transparent light shield appeared in the sky above the valley, enveloping the entire huge valley. An aura of the great path spread out from the light shield formed by the demonic light and demonic inscriptions. The light shield blocked the transparent ripple from the ancient god Sun Kei's hand. This was the great path formation. The falling moon devil palace was extremely powerful. With this formation protecting the ancestral land of the falling moon devil palace, no one could attack and kill their way in. Humph! The ancient god Sun Kei sneered and continued to attack. He took a step forward and punched the light shield that covered the entire valley. Boom! The entire barrier shook. Ancient god Sun Kei's punch had directly shaken the falling moon demon palace's defensive array. This caused countless demon race experts in the falling moon demon palace's ancestral land to be extremely shocked. Who is that person? How can he shake our tribe's formation? Some of the experts from the Falling Moon Demon tribe exclaimed. The Falling Moon Devil Palace was one of the two major forces in the western region. Moreover, it was the strongest force. This time, someone had actually attacked the ancestral land of the Falling Moon Devil Palace. This was something that had never happened in thousands of years. Rumble. A devil palace rushed out from the ancestral land of the Falling Moon Devil Palace. A powerful demonic aura spread out from the Devil Palace and resonated with the entire demonic formation. Finally out? The ancient god Sun Kei's lips curled into a cold smile. He looked at the Devil Palace in the sky above the valley with a crazed look in his eyes. My friend, you are too much. An old voice came from the Devil Palace. A demonic shadow appeared in the Devil Palace like a supreme demon lord. The body of the demonic shadow emitted a terrifying demonic aura. Tisk! The ancient god Sun Kei was disdainful. He then said, Only you are allowed to kill people, but others are not allowed to kill you. Don't talk nonsense. The strong are respected. Whoever is strong is the ruler. The strong are respected. Good, well said. The demonic shadow in the Devil Palace said. His tone was filled with a cold, murderous intent. Why are you talking so much? Let's fight. The ancient god Sun Kei took a step forward and instantly disappeared into the void. The next moment, when he reappeared, he was in front of the layer of light outside the valley. Open! The ancient god Sun Kei roared in anger and slammed his palm towards the light shield. The void in front of his palm was collapsing and the light shield was sinking inwards. Countless demonic inscriptions were intertwining and extreme demonic power was exploding. Even so, there were still many cracks on the light barrier, as if it was about to be penetrated. As you wish. The figure in the Devil Palace rushed out and pointed at the ancient god Sun Kei with his right hand. A demonic light immediately shot out from his index finger and turned into a peerless sword light that shot towards the ancient god Sun Quebec. The sword light pierced through the light shield and instantly appeared in front of the ancient god Sun Quebec. Demonic hand of transformation. The ancient god Sun Kei used his trump card right away. The peerless sword light that was coming towards him immediately dissipated and turned into the most primitive essence, which was then devoured by the ancient god. That huge hand destroyed the peerless sword light, and then, like breaking dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, it directly obliterated the light shield. This time, the demonic inscriptions continuously dissipated in the void. However, at this moment, the old antique from the Falling Moon Demon Palace had already rushed out, and raised his hand to slap the ancient god. Boom! The two forces collided and exploded in an instant. The ancient god Sunke was actually forced to take a few steps back. Then, the figure in front of him flickered. The old man from the falling moon demon palace was incomparably powerful, and directly attacked the ancient god. A great battle broke out. The two figures moved quickly in the void, and the dull sound of collision rang out continuously. The void was constantly collapsing, and the powerful auras of the divine path and the demon path were vast and mighty. The mystical demon mountain lord and the others were indescribably shocked. They never imagined that the falling moon demon palace would have such a powerful existence apart from the moon demon. It was truly unbelievable. The guy who came out of the falling moon demon palace was too powerful. The aura he exuded made the hearts of the mystical demon mountain lord and the others palpitate. If it weren't for Gu Fei's supreme saint weapon that protected them, they would have already been killed in body and soul. The entire valley was shaking. In the falling moon demon palace's ancestral land, everyone was indescribably shocked. How many years had it been? Someone had actually threatened the ancestral land. The falling moon demon palace's ancestral land was not an ordinary place. The entire valley was covered by a great formation that greatly weakened the terrifying pressure descending from the sky. Otherwise, many people would have died. The moon demon did not appear. It was likely that the moon demon palace was not in the falling moon demon palace's ancestral land. The ancient god Sanke had encountered a powerful opponent. The old demon displayed his supreme combat strength and fought endlessly with the ancient god Sun Quebec. The two figures soared into the sky and directly attacked the starry sky. This Chapter 31-38. The falling moon devil palace actually had an extreme Tao devil ancestor overseeing it. This was something that no one had expected. At this time, ancient god Sanke was already in a difficult position. The two extreme path experts charged into the depths of the starry sky, causing many stars to explode. The extreme path god aura and demonic aura descended from the depths of the starry sky, startling countless living beings. Countless living beings in the western region were terrified to the extreme. Gu Fei led Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others into the starry sky to watch the battle. The extreme path god aura rippled out, causing stars to fall from the sky. This was a terrifying scene. It had happened once before, and now it was happening again. The destructive aura caused everyone's souls to tremble. I didn't expect Sinke to be so powerful despite being so weak. Gu Fei stood in the void and couldn't help but be shocked. Even though the extreme path ancestor god was extremely weak, he was still extremely terrifying. Rumble! The starry sky shook, and endless divine light lit up the entire sky. Ancient god Sinke displayed his might, and beams of destructive divine light pierced through the fallen moon demon palace's old ancestor. Kill! The fallen moon demon's old ancestor roared. His demonic voice spread out, and the void was silently destroyed. The piercing divine light collapsed in the void. Roar! A demonic shadow rushed out from the old ancestor of the demons and pounced towards ancient god Sun Quebec. It was the shadow of an ancient demonic beast. So it's the heavenly horned demonic beast. Ancient god Senke couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this shadow. This heavenly horned demonic beast had a single horn on its head. This horn wasn't simple, and it had the power to shatter heaven and earth. Boom! With a loud bang, the demonic shadow sent the ancient god Sinke flying for an unknown distance. He crashed into a star and shattered it. Haha, your era is over. This isn't the ancient era. You better scram back to your ancestor god realm. Heaven Horn Demon raised his head and laughed. This guy was extremely weak and definitely not his match. Of course, although the Skyhorn Evil Lord was strong, it would not be easy to kill ancient god Sun Quebec. If ancient god Senke went all out, the Skyhorn Evil Lord would not have a good ending. Roar! Ancient god Senke roared. He turned into a god bird and rushed towards the Skyhorn Demon Ancestor. Two golden claws slashed towards the Skyhorn Demon Ancestor. The void was torn and shattered. Just as the two sharp claws were about to reach the Skyhorn Demon Ancestor, A demon shield emerged from the sky-horn demon ancestor's body and blocked his front. Clang! The divine bird that Sun Ke transformed into clawed at the demon shield. Sparks flew and a few scratches were left on the demon shield. The sky-horn demonic lord was sent flying. Unexpectedly, this fellow is actually a primordial golden rock. Gu Fei was surprised to see this. The ancient god Sun Ke was a primordial golden rock that was born from the chaos. He was surprised. This kind of creature could kill gods and demons as soon as it was born. It was extremely powerful. When it matured, it was strong enough to fight supreme beings. The primordial golden rock and the sky-horn demon ancestor were both creatures born from the chaos. However, the primordial golden rock was severely injured in the ancient era and was very weak. When fighting against the sky-horn demon ancestor, it was at a disadvantage. Whoosh! The primordial golden rock flapped its wings. Rays of golden light rushed out from its wings and turned into peerless sword lights that slashed at the retreating sky-horn demon ancestor. Every sword light destroyed the void. Heaven and earth seemed to be cut into countless pieces by the sword lights. This was the primordial golden rock's killer move. Buzz! The horn on the heavenly horn magical beast's head vibrated. Then, with a wave, a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth erupted from the horn. In the next moment, boom! Then, a destructive demonic light erupted from the horn. The void was annihilated, and the stars were instantly annihilated. Not even a speck of dust was left behind, and they completely disappeared. This was the terrifying power of the sky-horn demon ancestor's horn. The sharp golden sword lights that were slashing at the sky-horn demon ancestor collided with the demonic light and disappeared in an instant. What? The primordial golden rock was shocked. His golden rock sword lights were so easily dissolved by the demonic light. How was this possible? At this time, the demonic light from the horn shone on the primordial golden rock. Roar! The primordial golden rock screamed in pain. White smoke came out of its body. The golden runes were dissipating. Its body was melting. Whoosh! The primordial golden rock flapped its wings and soared into the sky. In an instant, it rushed out of the demonic light. A ball of golden light appeared on its body. The corroded parts of its body were immediately healed. Flesh and blood were growing again. Ha ha! Why are you running? Aren't you very powerful? How dare you come to my mountain gate? The sky-horn demon ancestor laughed. It was not easy for him to live to this day. He also participated in the battle and was on the verge of death. However, the sky-horn demon ancestor was much luckier than the primordial golden rock. He was not trapped in a place that lacked spirit chi. Therefore, he recovered a part of his cultivation. Little guy, stop watching the show. Come over and help. At this time, the primordial golden rocked Sun Ke's voice rang in Gu Fei's mind. That guy couldn't handle it, and wanted Gu Fei to help. Gu Fei was still fused with the mountain and river cauldron. He had the fighting power of an extreme Tao Supreme. Help you? Why should I help you? I won't do anything that doesn't benefit me. Gu Fei shook his head. Help me take care of this guy and I will give you a great opportunity. The primordial golden rock said quickly. Pfft, you even gave me the mountain and river diagram. What great opportunity do you have? Gu Fei laughed. If I say there is, then there is. With my identity, why would I lie to you? The primordial golden rock said. He was a little anxious. The sky-horn demon ancestor was chasing after him. The destructive demonic light that seemed to be able to destroy everything was shining towards the primordial golden rock. The demonic light had the power to destroy everything. Even the primordial golden rock didn't dare to be hit by it. Boom! At this time, Gu Fei made his move. He took a step forward and broke through the demonic light. He was in front of the sky-horn demon ancestor. What? Chapter 31-39. The primordial god Sun Ke's true form was a chaotic golden rock. This shocked Gu Fei and the others. After all, it was a divine bird born from chaos. As for the fallen Moon Demon Palace's ancestor, he had a powerful background. He was a heaven-horn devil beast. Ordinary magical beasts couldn't compare to heaven-horn devil beasts. The horn on the heaven-horn demon beast's head was very powerful. It could emit a destructive devil light. Anything that was illuminated by the devil light would instantly turn into nothingness. At this time, the sky-horn demon beast attacked with all its strength. The demonic light from its horn became even stronger. Wherever the demonic light touched, everything was destroyed. It was terrifying. Even the large stars in space were illuminated by the light of the heaven-horn magic beast's horn, and they instantly disappeared from space. Wherever the demonic light passed, the starry sky would immediately darken, and the stars in the sky would disappear. "Little guy, when are you going to attack?" The ancient god Sun-Kei panicked. He didn't want to be killed by the light of the heaven-horn demon beast and disappear from this world. Just as Sun-Kei was about to retreat, Gu Fei finally made his move. He broke through the layers of demonic light and reached the heaven-horn demon in an instant. What? The heaven-horn magical beast was truly shocked. The opponent was not afraid of the demonic light coming from its horn, and he punched at the heaven-horn magical beast's head. Whoosh! The heavenly horn magical beast disappeared into thin air and reappeared thousands of feet away. However, Gu Fei was right behind it. Bam! Without any suspense, Gu Fei's punch landed on the sky-horn demon beast's head and sent it flying. So hard! Gu Fei swung his right hand. Although he just sent the sky-horn demon beast flying, it was still an extreme-level demon beast. Its skull was very hard. Even though Gu Fei had borrowed the power of the cauldron of mountain and river, he couldn't blow up the heaven-horn demon beast's head with one punch. Instead, his fist hurt. However, Gu Fei's punch made the sky-horn magical beast dizzy, and it almost fell from the sky. Roar! As the heavenly horn beast roared, the terrifying demonic sound spread out. Visible ripples appeared in the surrounding space. However, this demonic sound could not affect Gu Fei. He used the power of the cauldron of mountain and river to protect himself, blocking the soul-stirring demonic sound outside. Heaven-covering palm! Gu Fei bellowed out and directly used the battle skill. A chaotic hand of primordial chaos immediately appeared in the air, slamming towards the heavenly horn magical beast. Buzz! At the same time, the heaven horn beast's horn shook again. A bright demonic light rushed out of the horn and met the primordial chaos hand. Rumble! As the two forces collided, Gu Fei's primordial chaos hand was so powerful that it directly dispersed the demonic light emitted by the demon horn. Who are you? Why are you attacking me? The heaven horn beast was both shocked and angry. He dodged again. Your horn is not bad. I'll take it. Gu Fei continued to attack. He used the primordial chaos chi to protect himself, unafraid of the light of extermination from the heaven horn beast's horn. How dare you! The heaven horn beast was shocked and angry. He had to dodge again. The two figures moved rapidly in the starry sky. Gu Fei had the upper hand. He was extremely domineering, and every punch and kick contained immense power. To Gu Fei, the simplest battle skill was often able to unleash the greatest power. Boom! Just as the heaven horn beast dodged Gu Fei's fist, there was a muffled sound. He was suddenly flung away. A figure appeared in space. That person was Tsung Quebec. While the heaven horn demon beast was fighting with Gu Fei, he took advantage of the fact that the heaven horn demon beast was caught off guard and was sent flying. Ganging up on me? I won't keep you company. The heavenly horn beast roared into the sky. Then, a beam of demonic light shot out from the horn on its head. The demonic light shattered the space around it. He turned into a beam of demonic light and rushed into the chaos, disappearing in an instant. Gu Fei and Sun-Kei were stunned by the scene. They wanted to stop the heavenly horn magical beast, but it had already fled when they were about to act. The monk can leave, but the temple can't. The ancient god Sun-Kei muttered to himself. Then, he charged down from the starry sky and arrived before the falling moon demon palace's mountain gate. He then started attacking the mountain gate. What? In the ancestors' land of the falling moon demon palace, countless cultivators watched in horror. Had their ancestor been defeated? Forget it. What exactly is your so-called great fortune? At this moment, Gu Fei returned to the ground from the starry sky. He came to Sun Kei's side and said these words. I will tell you when I return to the ancestor god realm. The ancient god, Sun Kei said. He turned into a human again. He was still as old and skinny as before. It was hard to imagine that such an old man was actually a supreme god ancestor. The power of a supreme god ancestor was undeniable. The ancient god Sun Kei could not break the formation of the ancestors' land of the falling moon demon palace because the formation was connected to the yin and yang of heaven and earth. It attracted the essence of the ancestors' land. In this way, unless the ancient gods' cultivation base and battle power were restored to their peak, it would be impossible for them to break through the formation. I don't have time to waste here. You can have fun here. I'm leaving. Gu Fei was speechless. This guy was really unreliable. He then waved his sleeves and Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others, who had been kept by him, appeared in the void. Mo Mingtian was known as the #1 demon in the East region. The East region of the Chaos Demon realm was his territory. He took out a transmitting formation platform. Master, please! Mo Mingtian said to Gu Fei. Okay. Gu Fei nodded and walked to the transmitting formation platform floating in the void. After Gu Fei stepped onto the transfer formation platform, Mo Mingtian also stepped onto the transfer formation platform, followed by Blood Devil, the Meng brothers, and the Black Demon Mountain Lord. Sigh! The ancient god Sun Kei sighed. He stopped attacking the formation and flew to the transmitting formation platform floating in the void. He landed beside Gu Fei. Swoosh! The teleportation array platform flashed with a demonic light, and everyone on the teleportation array platform disappeared the moment the demonic light flashed, leaving the platform empty. Chapter 3140. The eastern domain of the primal chaos devil realm was different from the western domain. The territory of the eastern domain was almost endless. No one knew how big it was. Some uninhabited areas had not been entered for millions of years. Mo Mingtian was doing well in the eastern domain. He was known as the #1 demon in the eastern domain. No one in the entire eastern domain was his match, so he was the ruler of the eastern domain. In the eastern domain, there was a huge city called Mingtian City. There were countless creatures in the city, and the city lord was naturally Mo Mingtian. At this time, Mo Mingtian used a formation platform and directly brought Gu Fei's group to the eastern domain. Gu Fei's group was not far from Mingtian City. Old Ming, this is your territory. Lead the way. Black Demon Mountain Lord glanced at Mo Mingtian and said, Not bad. The Meng brothers and Blood God nodded. Master, you should first go to my Nether Sky City and stay there before you go look for the ruins. Mo Mingtian ignored the Meng brothers and Black Demon Mountain Lord. In his eyes, only Gu Fei could make him worry. Of course, there was also the ancient god Sun Quebec. The ancient god Sun Kei's power was unquestionable. Even if Mo Mingtian was even crazier, he absolutely wouldn't dare to provoke this ancient god. Very good. Gu Fei nodded. He was looking for a place to stay. Thus, Mo Mingtian put away the formation platform and brought Gu Fei's group straight to Mingtian City. Soon, a huge city appeared in everyone's sight. That is, Black Demon Mountain Lord couldn't help but be moved when he saw the huge city ahead. It was really too big, like an insurmountable divine mountain in front of them. Although the distance was a bit far, Gu Fei could still see many people coming in and out of the city gate. When Mo Mingtian approached the huge city, the gate suddenly opened and a group of soldiers wearing black magic armor and holding spears came out. The leader was a red-haired middle-aged man. This red-haired middle-aged man rode a black Shilin horse and directly rushed out to Mo Mingtian. Greetings, master! The red-haired middle-aged man jumped down from the black Shilin horse and bowed to Mo Mingtian. All right, all of you can leave! Mo Mingtian waved his hand and said. Yes. The red-haired middle-aged man hurriedly accepted the order, and then retreated with his fiend-armored soldiers. Although there were only a few dozen fiend-armored warriors, they were like a black torrent that directly rushed into Underworld Sky City, giving off the feeling that there were thousands of soldiers and horses. After the red-haired middle-aged man's figure disappeared, Emo Mingtian brought Gu Fei and the others to land in front of the city gate. Then they walked in and saw that the main road of the city was bustling with activity. Both sides of the road were lined with shops. Some people even set up stalls on the side of the road, selling all kinds of things that cultivators needed. Don't miss this opportunity. The legendary demon Ginseng Emperor can only be exchanged for 3 golden rock feathers. Those with golden rock feathers shouldn't hide it anymore. A crisp voice came from the front. Demon Ginseng Emperor? Gu Fei didn't say anything, but Sun Kei, who was standing beside him, was shocked and his eyes lit up. The demon Ginseng Emperor was a good item. He walked up and saw a masked woman selling all kinds of things. Of course, the demon Ginseng Emperor in the masked woman's hand was the most precious kind of potion. Sun Kei's vitality was greatly injured, so he needed to devour all kinds of essence to recover his cultivation. He plucked 3 feathers from his body and handed them to the masked woman. The masked woman was overjoyed when she saw this. She quickly handed the demon Ginseng Emperor to Sun Kei and took the 3 golden rock feathers from Sun Quebec. The golden rock feathers on Sun Kei's body couldn't be compared to ordinary golden rock feathers. The moment the masked woman took the golden rock feathers, she met a tragic end. The moment the 3 golden rock feathers left Sun Kei's hands, a powerful aura immediately spread from them. In the next moment, the masked woman was sent flying while coughing up blood. Everyone who saw this scene couldn't help but be shocked. At this moment, the 3 golden pink feathers floated down from the sky. Each feather exuded an incomparably powerful divine aura, which shocked countless demonic beings to the extreme. Some of the weaker fiendish Dao beings directly collapsed to the ground, terrified to the extreme. Gu Fei and the others were dumbfounded when they saw this. Sun Kei is too careless. Isn't he harming others by giving his feathers to them? Even Gu Fei and the others felt great pressure. The aura emitted by the 3 golden rock feathers was too powerful. I'm sorry! Sun Kei was taken aback. He quickly retrieved the 3 feathers and refined the aura of the extreme Dao on them. At that moment, the masked woman who was sent flying rushed back from afar. She had consumed a healing medicine, so her injuries healed instantly. You're a god! The masked woman was extremely excited. It was definitely not easy to see a god in the Chaos Demon realm. Of course, there were other gods in the Chaos Demon realm. The ancestral god realm was probably the same. Demons had invaded the ancestral god realm during the war between the Chaos Demon realm and the ancestral god realm. It was not surprising that there were demons living in the ancestral god realm. The experts of the ancestral god realm had also attacked the Chaos Devil world before. Many of them were trapped in this world, but many of them managed to survive. You're a god too? Sun Kei said in surprise. He didn't notice it before, but now, he could see through the masked woman with a single glance. This masked woman was also a god, not a devil. They're gods! As the 3 golden rock feathers were taken away by Sun Kei, the terrifying aura disappeared. All the living beings around them heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, the living beings around Gu Fei and the others quickly ran away as if they were avoiding the plague. There are survivors of the celestial race hiding among us. Someone cried out in alarm. The celestial race and the demons were mortal enemies. Once the two met, they would definitely fight to the death. Now, countless demons had gathered on the main road of Mingtian City. More and more devilish cultivators were still converging on them from all directions. All of you, get lost! At this time, Emo Mingtian spoke. His voice wasn't loud, but it was clearly transmitted to the ears of every demon race being present. This is... When those living beings from the demon race saw Emo Mingtian, they were shocked to the extreme. Didn't you hear what the city lord said? All of you, get lost! The red-haired middle-aged man who had just greeted Mo Mingtian outside the city gate jumped out of nowhere and shouted at the surrounding demons. Then, with a burst of shouting, a group of demon armor soldiers rushed over from the direction of the city lord mansion, driving away the demon race cultivators who were blocking the way. What? The countless demons surrounding Gu Fei and the others panicked and quickly dispersed. These demons were just small fries. Their cultivation and combat power were limited. It was impossible for them to compete with Mo Mingtian's demon armor soldiers. Moreover, Mo Mingtian was here. City Lord, please take down these 2 survivors of the celestial race. A demon's cultivator shouted. Mo Mingtian was immediately scared when he heard this. If you want to die, then die by yourself. Don't drag me down with you. Take down these 2 survivors of the celestial race? If Sankei doesn't kill me, I'll be thanking the heavens. City Lord, please take down these 2 survivors of the celestial race. The surrounding celestial race cultivators shouted in unison. Take your head. All of you get lost. If you don't, I'll kill you. Mo Mingtian glanced at the surrounding demons and said fiercely. All the surrounding demons were inexplicably shocked. They didn't understand why the city lord didn't take down these 2 survivors of the celestial race. One must know that the demons and the celestial race were natural enemies. For a moment, the surroundings were incomparably silent. Why aren't you guys getting lost? The crimson-haired, middle-aged man broke the silence. A powerful aura spread out from his body, causing the demonic cultivators to be terrified to the extreme. They kept retreating. Let's go back, Mo Mingtian said and led the way, bringing Gu Fei and the others back to the city lord's mansion. The veiled woman quickly packed up her stall and followed behind Sang Quebec. At this time, her identity had already been exposed. If she didn't follow Sankei, she might not be able to leave this Mingtian city. In the Chaos Demon realm, the celestial race had always been low-key. Once their identity was exposed by the demons, they would inevitably be besieged by the demons. It wasn't easy for the celestial race to survive in the Chaos Demon realm. But now, no one dared to attack the veiled woman because she was under the protection of Mo Mingtian. Mo Mingtian was the number 1 demon in the Eastern Domain. Who would dare to challenge the number 1 demon in the Eastern Domain? Wouldn't that be courting death? Under Mo Mingtian's lead, Gu Fei and the others entered the city lord's mansion of Mingtian City. They temporarily stayed here. At the same time, Mo Mingtian directly sent the demon armor soldiers to search for the ancient ruins in the Eastern Domain. Gu Fei and the others only needed to wait for news in the city lord's mansion. Mo Mingtian was very smart and knew what Gu Fei needed. Sometimes, Mo Mingtian didn't even need Gu Fei to say it. He already knew what Gu Fei wanted to do. At this time, Sankei also knew the origin of the veiled woman. This veiled woman was actually a golden rock. It was also because of this that she used the demon Ginseng Emperor to exchange for the golden rock feather. The golden rock goddess was an expert of the golden rock race. But Sankei was her ancestor, an ancestor who had lived for countless years. After the golden rock goddess learned of Sankei's identity, she was naturally surprised and happy. She never thought that her ancestor was actually still alive. Chapter 3141. In the ancient war, the primal chaos golden rock race was almost exterminated, and even their ancestor went missing. The surviving members of the primal chaos golden rock race wandered in the chaos demon world and kept looking for a way to return to the ancestral god world. However, in the end, they couldn't leave the chaos demon world and return to the ancestral god world. During that battle, the passageway between the Chaos Devil realm and the Ancestral God realm had been destroyed. Moreover, an extreme powerhouse had sealed the destroyed void. No one could break the seal of that place. The members of the Primal Chaos Golden Rock race could only live a life of hiding in the Chaos Demon world. As long as they were discovered by the demons, they couldn't escape death. After countless years, the members of the Primal Chaos Golden Rock race became fewer and fewer. In the current era, there were only a few members of the primal Chaos Golden Rock race who wandered in the Chaos Demon world. The cultivation of the Golden Rock Goddess wasn't bad, but in the Chaos Demon world, there were many demons who were stronger than her. Especially in a big city like Mingtian City, there was no lack of demons. Once the identity of the Golden Rock Goddess was exposed, no matter how high her cultivation was, she wouldn't be able to walk out of Mingtian City. But now, the Golden Rock Goddess had become Mo Mingtian's distinguished guest. This made all the demons who saw this scene inexplicably shocked. Not only did Mo Mingtian not attack the two gods, but he also invited them into the city lord's mansion politely. This was something that had never happened before. It should be known that the demons and the god race were archenemies. Once demons and gods met, they would definitely fight to the death. But now, Mo Mingtian was actually on the same side as the god race. What was going on? Mo Mingtian was the number one demon in the eastern region. He actually colluded with the god race. This was definitely a huge matter that could shake the entire Chaos Demon world. Countless demonic cultivators saw what happened and the news quickly spread out. Naturally, it alarmed a great number of demonic cultivators. However, these demon Dao experts were all watching. After all, Mo Mingtian was the number one demon in the eastern region and had obtained the skull of an extreme path demonic ancestor. Who would dare to provoke him? At this time, Mo Mingtian had already sent out all the demonic armor soldiers in Underworld City to search for that mysterious region. Very soon, there was news that a black-armored general had discovered a large expanse of ancient ruins in an uninhabited area in the eastern region. The ancient sect that was destroyed in the ancient times should be there. After receiving the news, Gu Fei immediately left the city lord's mansion with Blood Devil, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord, and the Meng brothers. They headed straight for the uninhabited area. That uninhabited area was tens of thousands of miles away from Underworld Sky City, but with Gu Fei's cultivation, this distance was not very far. Swoosh! A ball of chaotic light suddenly appeared in the sky above the no man's land. Several figures walked out of the ball of chaotic light and appeared in the void. Gu Fei and the others arrived. This is... Gu Fei looked around and saw that this place was actually a barren land with no signs of life. Not even a blade of grass grew on the ground. Only a few broken walls could be seen on the yellow soil. What's going on here? Gu Fei was very surprised. He didn't expect this uninhabited area to be like this. There should be a huge ruin buried under the yellow soil. Go and search carefully, Gu Fei said while looking around. There was no sign of life here. There was not a single living thing in the vast wilderness. This was a land of absolute death. Blood Devil and the others immediately dispersed. Then, they used their grand spells to search the ruins carefully. Rumble! The earth shook. Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were taking action. Endless yellow soil was blown away. Dust soared to the sky and an ancient altar appeared in front of Gu Fei. Unfortunately, this altar was already damaged. It was full of cracks and the runes inside had already dissipated. It was impossible to repair it. When Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others cleared away the yellow soil, Gu Fei, who was standing high up in the sky, was taken aback. He saw that there was actually an incomparably huge handprint in the ruins. Back then, someone had used a great divine ability to strike down from the heavens and annihilate this ancient superpower. This, Gu Fei was extremely shocked. The scene in front of him was too shocking. Could it be that there was an extreme expert who destroyed this ancient superforce? Perhaps only an extreme powerhouse could directly wipe out a superforce from the cultivation world with a single palm strike. With an extreme supreme expert taking action, there was naturally nothing left here. Everything was obliterated by the extreme power. Even if there was a teleportation formation here that could allow people to cross boundaries, it was also destroyed. Gu Fei was a little disappointed. He directly called out to the others and walked in the direction of Underworld City, walking in the void. Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others also soared into the sky and chased after Gu Fei. Just as Gu Fei and the others left, the entire void of the no man's area trembled. At the center of the ruins, the ground cracked open as demonic chi surged out. A stone coffin rushed out from the depths of the cracked ground. Boom! With a loud noise, the entire stone coffin suddenly exploded, and an extremely terrifying figure appeared high in the sky. This is... At that moment, Gu Fei suddenly stopped and turned around. A powerful aura immediately came from afar. This... Gu Fei was extremely shocked. They had just come from that place, but they never expected that the place would suddenly change. What's going on? Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were also startled. They all turned around and looked into the distance, only to see the demonic aura soaring into the sky, and a demonic figure looming in the midst of the demonic aura. A ferocious demon has appeared? Gu Fei couldn't help but frown and say such words. Just as Gu Fei was speaking, the endless demonic aura in the distant sky quickly condensed together. At the moment when the monstrous demonic aura disappeared, Gu Fei only felt his vision blur, and a figure appeared in front of him. It was a black-clothed woman with shoulder-length hair. Her face was covered, and a pair of blood-colored eyes were staring at Gu Fei. In those blood-colored eyes, there were actually blood-colored demonic patterns interweaving. So fast! Seeing this, Gu Fei couldn't help but be shocked. This black-clothed woman was incredible. Her speed was probably not inferior to his 8 desolation steps. "Who are you?" asked Gu Fei. The demonic nature of this black-clothed woman seemed to be especially strong, which made him feel like he was facing an extreme demonic ancestor. The black-clothed woman didn't speak. She directly stretched out her right hand and grabbed at Gu Fei. Gu Fei only felt his body tighten, and his whole body immediately flew towards the black-clothed woman, which surprised him. What? Seeing this scene, Master of Black Demon Mountain and the others were really shocked. Boom! In the next moment, a powerful chaotic energy immediately erupted from Gu Fei's body, and he broke free from the suction force. Then, he punched at the black-clothed woman in front of him. Rumble! As Gu Fei punched, the void in front of his fist immediately shook violently, as if even the sky was about to collapse. This was the chaotic fist, which had great power. The black-clothed woman's right hand continued to grab at him. Bang! With a muffled sound, Gu Fei's fist collided with the masked woman's palm. 2 powerful forces exploded, and transparent ripples spread in all directions. Gu Fei only felt a chilling power from the other party's fist. That power rushed into his body, and in the next moment, his chi and blood seemed to be frozen, and a layer of white frost appeared on his face. Mysterious Yin Devil Chi? Gu Fei was shocked. He quickly operated his mysterious skill, and a mass of chaotic fire immediately emerged from his body, and then spread out. The chaotic fire constantly destroyed the mysterious Yin Devil Chi in his body. At the same time, the chaotic light also entered the body of the black-clothed woman from Gu Fei's hand. The masked woman's body trembled, and a layer of white smoke immediately emerged from her body. Roar! Gu Fei roared and suddenly exerted his strength, and the white frost on his body was immediately shaken off. At the same time, the masked woman also exerted her strength, and 2 figures flew back at the same time. In an instant, Gu Fei was frozen, and became an ice sculpture. The black-clothed woman did not have it easy either. The chaotic fire invaded her body, burning her chi and blood, and her whole body was smoking. 2 figures fell from the sky. Boom! With a muffled sound, a cloud of dust rose from the ground. Gu Fei was frozen by the mysterious Yin Devil Chi, and he fell from the sky like an ice sculpture, smashing a big hole in the ground. The black-clothed woman landed lightly on the ground, and then sat down cross-legged. She operated her mysterious skill, trying to force the chaotic fire out of her body. Soon, the black-clothed woman's body emitted traces of chaotic fire, and then dissipated into the void. At this time, the mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were already stunned by the sudden change. Someone could actually fight with their master, and both sides were injured. How was this possible? Master! Looking at the big hole created by Gu Fei, the mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others were inexplicably shocked. At this time, the layer of ice on Gu Fei's body had already shattered, and he crawled out of the big hole, trembling. Then, he sat cross-legged on the ground, and operated his mysterious skill to expel the mysterious Yin Devil Qi in his body. They saw that Gu Fei's body quickly emitted strands of black gas. The mysterious demon mountain lord and the others did not dare to attack the black-clothed woman. One must know that the black-clothed woman was too strong, and she could contend against their master. This time, Mo Mingtian did not come, and the ancient god Sun Ke also did not come. Only Gu Fei came with the mysterious demon mountain lord, blood devil, and the Meng brothers. Should they make a move? Chapter 3142. Gu Fei didn't even use the power of an extreme grade Dao tool, yet he was able to fight the black-clothed demoness to a draw. This was something he never expected. The masked demoness cultivated the profound Yin Devil energy. A strand of devil energy invaded Gu Fei's body and almost froze his blood and qi. At this time, Gu Fei sat cross-legged on the ground and fully operated the martial arts power in his body to expel the profound Yin Devil energy that invaded his body. Traces of black gas overflowed from Gu Fei's pores and then dissipated into the void. The blood and qi in his body gradually moved faster. Soon, the sound of wind and thunder came from his body. The flame of primal chaos pulsated on the masked demoness body. The flame of primal chaos that had invaded the masked demoness body was forced out by her. A cold aura spread out from her body. The surrounding space seemed to solidify and a layer of frost appeared on the ground. At this time, mysterious demon mountain lord and the others were nervously staring at the masked demoness. They were hesitating whether or not to make a move. They were very wary of the masked demoness. Kill! The Meng brothers suddenly roared and directly rushed towards the woman sitting cross-legged on the ground. The primal chaos flame that Gu Fei sent into her body was continuously forced out. However, at this time, the Meng brothers made their move. The demonic aura that erupted from their bodies was extremely powerful. A demonic sun appeared in the sky and suppressed down towards the masked demoness. A terrifying devil aura spread out and the void around the devil sun was annihilated. It was as terrifying as a real devil sun falling from the sky. The Meng brothers joined forces and displayed a battle prowess that could be described as heaven-defying. They were almost invincible in the same realm. The devil sun descended and crushed everything. This mysterious demon mountain lord and blood god were startled when they saw this scene. The devil sun formed by the Meng brothers was about to fall on the body of the masked demoness. However, the masked demoness suddenly opened her eyes. She waved her right hand and the devil sun that was falling from the sky immediately flew up high into the sky. As if it had turned into a real devil sun, it emitted a terrifying devil light. What? Seeing this scene, mysterious demon mountain lord and blood god were dumbfounded. How was this possible? The attack of the Meng brothers was dissolved just like that? The masked witch's battle prowess was simply too shocking. Rumble! There was a tremor in the sky, and the demonic sun disappeared in an instant. Two powerful figures appeared in the sky, and each figure exuded a great demon venerable level demonic aura. So powerful! The eldest of the Meng brothers, the skinny one, said. His face was very dignified, and there was a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. His brother was no exception. His face was incomparably pale, and one could tell with a single look that he had suffered a tremendous impact. He was injured. The masked demoness just casually waved her hand, but not only did she dissolve the Meng brothers' strongest attack, she even injured them, which shocked them to the extreme. At this time, the masked witch stood up from the ground. Just as she was about to deal with the Meng brothers, she suddenly stopped. Because at this moment, she was locked on by a strong battle intent. The Meng brothers in the sky quickly rushed to the distant sky to avoid the attack. Who the hell are you? Gu Fei calmly looked at the masked witch in front of him and said. The masked demoness didn't say anything. Instead, she turned around abruptly. However, the instant she turned around, Gu Fei made his move and sent a punch flying. The sound of wind and thunder resounded. Gu Fei's punch actually issued a shocking sound of wind and thunder in the void. Upon seeing this, the mast witch stretched out her hand and grabbed Gu Fei's fist with lightning speed. Two powerful forces instantly exploded. Gu Fei and the masked woman were both sent flying by the force of the explosion. Die! Gu Fei roared and directly rushed back from the distant sky. He stretched out his hand and a primal chaos palm immediately appeared between the heavens and the earth, shrouding the entire sky. He used the heaven-covering palm. Rumble! The primal chaos palm fell from the sky and directly hit the masked witch. It was as if a huge primal chaos divine mountain was pressing down from the sky. Humph! In the face of Gu Fei's killing move, the masked she-devil soared into the sky and turned into an extremely powerful sword light that slashed at the chaotic hand. The primal chaos palm was actually split in half by the sword light and dissipated in the void. What? Upon seeing this, Gu Fei couldn't help but be shocked. One must know that this was the heaven-covering palm, but it was so easily broken. It was really hard for him to accept. Moreover, after the sword light broke the heaven-covering palm, it directly turned in the sky and strangled him. The cold sword energy caused the temperature of the entire world to drop sharply. This was the mysterious Yin demon sword. The sword energy emitted from the sword light was enough to freeze the world and the void. Then I'll play with you! Gu Fei immediately turned into a sword light and collided with the sword light. Clang! It was like a peerless Tao sword constantly collided, and the void was directly cut and twisted. The two golden lights constantly chased and collided high in the sky. The sword energy was mighty in all directions, which shocked everyone. It was impossible for Black Demon Mountain Lord and the others to intervene in a battle of this level because the battle strength of Gu Fei and the masked witch was at a heaven-defying level. They could easily kill a great demon Venerable. Gu Fei didn't use the extreme divine weapon. He was fighting with his own strength, but the opponent's cultivation and battle strength were comparable to his. He had never encountered such a powerful devil race powerhouse, who could actually fight with him endlessly. The heaven-punishing sword light that Gu Fei had transformed into emitted a terrifying murderous aura. It constantly collided with the mysterious Yin demon sword that the witch had transformed into. In the end, no one could do anything to the other. The two sword lights disappeared into the depths of the sky, and the two great experts fought in the primal chaos. The witch who rushed out of the impasse was really too powerful. Such an existence was actually unknown, which seemed very strange. However, whether it was the Meng brothers, Black Demon Mountain Lord or Blood Devil, none of them had heard of such a powerful witch in the Eastern Domain. Black Demon Mountain Lord directly sent the message back to Mingtian City through the message talisman. Soon, Mo Mingtian arrived. The Eastern Domain was his territory. When he learned that there was such a powerful great demon Venerable in his territory, he was also extremely shocked. After Mo Mingtian met with Black Demon Mountain Lord, he rushed into the sky and directly entered the primal chaos, instantly disappearing inside. He had the skull of a fallen extreme demon Venerable. If he fused with the skull, he would have the ability to fight against an extreme demon Venerable. Therefore, the battle between Gu Fei and the witch would not affect him. Rumble! At this time, the primal chaos was already boiling. Gu Fei and the witch were fighting crazily, but they were still evenly matched. Gu Fei's martial body was strong, but at this time, he did not have the slightest advantage. The opponent had the mysterious Yin devil body, which was also an incomparably powerful physique. Buzz! Gu Fei displayed the punishing heaven sword principle. An incomparably powerful punishing heaven sword light rushed out of his body, broke through the primal chaos, and pierced towards the masked witch. Icebound 10,000 miles! The masked witch finally spoke. However, this was not a good thing for Gu Fei. A powerful mysterious Yin power burst out of the masked witch's body. This mysterious Yin devil power instantly enveloped the void within a radius of 10,000 miles. In the next moment, the entire primal chaos void was frozen. Even the punishing heaven sword light that Gu Fei shot out was frozen and then shattered in the void. At the same time, a layer of transparent ice appeared on Gu Fei's body. Bam! The ice on Gu Fei's body instantly shattered. The mysterious Yin Devil Chi that burst out of the witch's body could not freeze him. A mass of primal chaos flame burst out of Gu Fei's body, and actually dispersed the surrounding mysterious Yin Devil Chi. "You are very strong!" As the witch spoke, an even more powerful energy fluctuation burst out of her body, and the Xian runes interweaved. "You are not weak either. Do you want to continue fighting?" Gu Fei said. "I am afraid it will not be easy to determine a winner between us," the witch said. "Not fighting anymore?" Gu Fei was a little surprised when he heard this. One must know that he was on the passive side, and the witch attacked with the intent to kill. "Not fighting anymore," the witch said, and directly crushed a jade talisman in her hand. "What?" Gu Fei was shocked when he saw the witch's action. Then, a mass of devil light flashed, and the masked witch's figure also disappeared in the primal chaos. The masked witch left just like that. Gu Fei shook his head. At this time, a figure rushed over from a distance. "Greetings, Master." The person who came bowed to Gu Fei. This person was Mo Mingtian. "Who is that person?" Gu Fei asked. The person he was talking about was naturally the masked witch who was fighting with him just now. This Mo Mingtian actually could not see the origin of the masked witch. Even Mo Mingtian could not see the origin of the masked witch. This made Gu Fei feel a little incredulous. Could it be that this witch was actually not a Devil Dao expert in the East region? At this time, above the mysterious ruins in the East region, a figure directly walked out of the void. This person was the masked demoness who was fighting with Gu Fei just a moment ago. The masked witch directly broke through the ground and rushed into the depths of the earth. There was a devil palace floating in the endless mysterious devil chi. Without any hesitation, the masked demoness rushed into the demon palace and disappeared. Chapter 3143. An incomparably powerful demoness had appeared in the eastern region. Moreover, this demoness could actually fight to a draw with Gu Fei. This made Black Demon Mountain Lord and the others inexplicably shocked. When did such a powerful existence appear in the demon world's eastern region? Even Mo Mingtian was inexplicably shocked and in disbelief. After all, he was the #1 demon in the eastern region. The eastern region was his world. How could an expert that could threaten his rule appear in the eastern region after leaving for a short period of time? Investigate! We must thoroughly investigate! After Mo Mingtian returned to Underworld City, he immediately sent out countless subordinates to investigate. Very quickly, news came back. It turned out that the demoness was a powerhouse that had come from the ancient ruins in the No Man's area. How is this possible? Mo Mingtian was even more confused when he received the news. After all, the No Man's area was a place with no vitality. There was no vitality at all. Even grass couldn't grow there. How could such a powerful demonic creature be hiding in such a desolate place? After all, demonic creatures also needed to devour the spiritual chi of heaven and earth when they cultivated. Especially the demons' experts. They often opened their mouths and sucked in all the spiritual chi of heaven and earth within a radius of 10,000 miles. Such a powerful demons actually appeared in a place with no vitality. There must be a reason for this abnormality. It seemed that there was some unknown secret in that place with no vitality. After Gu Fei returned to Mingtian City, he immediately went into closed-door training. This surprised the primordial god Sun Ke and the Golden Rock Goddess. They didn't know what Gu Fei had encountered in the ruins. However, Sun Ke knew that it definitely wasn't a good thing. After that, Sun Ke and the Golden Rock Goddess learned the ins and outs of the matter from Mo Mingtian. They were also incomparably shocked. After all, with Gu Fei's cultivation and battle prowess, unless it was an extreme supreme, who else could do anything to him? Gu Fei was invincible among his peers. In the quasi-supreme realm, there was almost no one who could rival him. Most importantly, Gu Fei had an extreme Dao Saint weapon. Could it be that even Gu Fei, who had an extreme Dao Saint weapon, could not defeat that demoness? However, Gu Fei had indeed suffered a great loss. He was injured and had no choice but to go into seclusion to recuperate. The masked demoness cultivation and battle prowess were not any weaker than his. Of course, Sun Ke didn't know that Gu Fei wasn't using an extreme Dao weapon. Instead, he was fighting the masked demoness with his own strength. Gu Fei sat cross-legged in his seclusion area. It was a stone room with a spirit-gathering formation laid down. An extremely powerful quasi-supreme might spread out from his body. Fortunately, the seclusion area was protected by an array formation, so the powerful aura emanating from Gu Fei's body did not leak out from the seclusion area. At this time, a mass of primal divine light emerged from Gu Fei's body. Streams of primal divine runes interweaved on his body, gradually forcing out the black yin energy that had invaded his body. That demoness was incredible. Her cultivation was incomparably powerful. This was the first time he had met an opponent that could contend against him. It seemed that the devil world was also filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. There were hidden experts. This made Gu Fei's blood boil. He longed for an opponent that could contend against him. It's fun now. It won't be so boring. Gu Fei's injuries had healed. At his level of cultivation, his martial body was extremely tyrannical. Any injury could be healed, even if it was a great Dao injury. The primal divine light on his body retracted, and his quasi-supreme aura was also rapidly weakening. Gu Fei stood up from the ground and stretched his body. He hadn't enjoyed the battle with the masked demoness to his heart's content. Naturally, he wanted to find the masked demoness for a battle. This kind of opponent was hard to come by because Gu Fei was too strong. He was nearly invincible among those at the same level. He had always swept away all his opponents, and rarely met an opponent that was evenly matched with him. Rumble! The stone door of the stone chamber slowly opened and Gu Fei walked out of the stone chamber. At this time, Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the others were waiting outside. They naturally knew that nothing would happen to Gu Fei. Even if something did happen, it would be a trivial matter. Just as Gu Fei came out of his seclusion, in the depths of the uninhabited area of the eastern domain, under an ancient ruin, there was an incomparably huge void. In the dark void, demonic clouds condensed from demonic energy were drifting. In the place where the demonic energy was the densest, there was a floating demonic palace. In the main hall of the palace, a figure was sitting cross-legged. It was a woman whose entire body was emitting a powerful demonic aura. This woman was also circulating her demonic arts to heal herself. The feeling of the primal divine light invading her body was really unpleasant. However, the masked demoness didn't force out the primal divine light invading her body. Instead, she used demonic arts to refine the primal divine light for her own use. In just half an hour, the masked demoness had completely refined the primal divine light that Gu Fei had injected into her body. I haven't met such an opponent in a long time. Who is that? The masked demoness muttered to herself. The voice of the masked demoness lingered in the spacious main hall. At this time, Gu Fei once again came to the uninhabited area. He still couldn't sense any aura in this ancient ruin. With a loud noise, the void collapsed. A figure fell from the sky. Someone directly broke the protective formation and killed his way into the underground world. It's you? When the masked demoness saw the person who had arrived, she was immediately startled. That was because this person was Gu Fei, who had fought with her earlier. Haha, there's a whole new world underground. Gu Fei laughed aloud. He looked around carefully and discovered that the place was filled with demonic aura. He could not see the sun or the moon. In the dark world, there was only an extremely oppressive atmosphere. Very soon, Gu Fei discovered the demonic palace that floated in the sky. At this time, Mysterious Demon Mountain Lord and the others had already entered this part of the world. The cracks in the void were gradually disappearing, and were gradually being repaired. Kill! The masked demoness could not help but be moved this time. She directly attacked Gu Fei. A pitch-black profounding demonic hand appeared in the void, grabbing at Gu Fei. Oh my, you're angry? Haha. Gu Fei laughed aloud. He used the desolate steps and immediately dodged. The profound demonic hand directly missed. The space that was enveloped by the demonic hand was crushed. It's impolite not to reciprocate. Eat my fist as well, Gu Fei said loudly. Then, he directly punched at the masked demoness with his right fist. Chaotic energy exploded from his fist. A large area of the void was annihilated. The figure of the masked demoness instantly disappeared in the void. Gu Fei's fist hit the void, not even touching the hem of the masked demoness' clothes. Seeing this scene, the Mountain Lord and the others were inexplicably shocked. Chapter 3144. Gu Fei fought the Masked Witch again. The Masked Witch's cultivation and combat ability were very strong, and she could fight him endlessly. At that moment, the Masked Witch suddenly disappeared into the void. This was the power of the great path of the void. The Masked Witch cultivated void magic. However, Gu Fei used the 9 swords of punishment. The murderous aura of the 9 swords shocked the Masked Witch. The murderous power was too strong. Yi Futian cultivated the way through killing, and his murderous aura made the world pale. The Masked Witch was forced out by Gu Fei's 9 swords of punishment. The 9 swords of light spread out and covered the surrounding void. She could not dodge at all. Virum! The void trembled as the masked demoness radiated a demonic light from her body. She actually guided the sword light that was slashing down towards her into the void, causing it to disappear. Gu Fei could not help but be surprised. The Masked Witch cultivated the great path of the void. She could guide all attacks into the void, making her invincible. A powerful void energy spread out from the body of the masked demoness, obliterating everything in its path. Very well! I'll play with you then. Gu Fei smiled. Then, he used one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path, the anti-void secret technique. In the next moment, his figure disappeared into the void. The masked woman was taken aback. In the next moment, her figure also escaped into the void and disappeared without a trace. Boom! With a muffled sound, 2 figures instantly appeared in the void. 2 fists instantly collided, and the void was directly annihilated. In the next moment, the 2 figures disappeared again. Gu Fei and the Masked Witch fought with the power of the great path of the void. This shocked Lord of Mystic Demon Mountain and the others who were watching from afar. The 2 super-strong cultivators moved through the void. Muffled sounds of collisions were constantly heard. The void was destroyed, and the powerful waves of power were vast and mighty. Gu Fei and the Masked Witch were evenly matched. It was difficult to tell who would win in a short time. One hand covers the sky. Gu Fei immediately displayed the heaven-covering palm. A huge chaotic palm appeared in the void in an instant, enveloping a part of the world before slamming down. The void shattered, and a figure fell out of the void. Gu Fei displayed the battle prowess of a quasi-supreme being. He actually managed to send the masked demoness flying, and the power of primal chaos spread throughout the world. Kill! As the masked demoness was sent flying, she let out a furious roar, and a pitch-black demonic light rushed out from her body, turning into an incomparably sharp light blade, chopping towards Gu Fei. Each of the light blades displayed incredible power. However, Gu Fei was extremely domineering. He swung his fists and smashed the light blades that were slashing at him, shattering them as he quickly approached the Masked Witch. What? The Masked Witch was shocked. Freeze! The Masked Witch let out a furious roar. Mysterious energy immediately surged out from her body, and the entire void seemed to freeze. Gu Fei only felt a wave of cold air assaulting his body, and a layer of white frost immediately appeared on his body. However, Gu Fei's body shook, and the white frost on his body immediately shattered. The power of primal chaos surged out from his body, causing the void to tremble. Pitch-black spatial cracks spread out in all directions like black lightning. Gu Fei was extremely domineering. He did not use an extreme saint artifact, and the mysterious energy could not freeze him. At this moment, the Masked Witch turned into a demonic bird, and directly pounced towards Gu Fei. A pair of sharp claws grabbed towards Gu Fei's head. The Golden Rock Goddess and the others who were watching the battle from afar could not help but exclaim when they saw this scene. It was a demonic rock. The Golden Rock Goddess could not believe it. The masked witch's original form was actually a chaos demonic rock. Gu Fei stretched out his hand and directly grabbed at the chaos demonic rock that was swooping down from the sky. His quasi-supreme being battle prowess erupted, causing the void to collapse and be annihilated under the envelopment of his hand. Boom! With a loud bang, the two forces instantly collided. The chaos demonic rock was directly thrown high up into the sky, while Gu Fei remained unmoved like a mountain. Rumble! The chaos demonic rock let out a roar, and directly opened its mouth to spit out demonic fire. The demonic fire instantly shrouded the entire world, and it burned towards Gu Fei. Gu Fei was not afraid of the demonic fire. He directly used the 8 desolation steps to break through the layers of demonic fire, and forced his way to the front of the chaos demonic rock. Then, he pointed out a finger, and an extremely dazzling sword light immediately shot out from his finger, piercing towards the chaos demonic rock. Swoosh! The chaos demonic rock flapped its wings and actually soared into the sky, evading Gu Fei's finger. Then, a demonic light rushed out from the chaos demonic rock's wings, and each feather turned into extremely sharp sword light, piercing towards Gu Fei in an overwhelming manner. Gu Fei directly stepped in the void. He was like an ancient chaotic supreme that walked out from the chaos demonic rock. As his hands danced, the sword light formed by the chaos demonic light that was piercing towards the chaos demonic rock shattered in the void. Bam! Gu Fei directly punched out, and the chaos demonic rock was directly sent flying. The chaos demonic rock was sent flying tens of thousands of feet away, and then it turned into a figure, continuously coughing up blood. This time, it had suffered a great impact. Seeing this scene, the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others were extremely shocked. The chaos demonic rock was at a disadvantage, and it was about to be defeated by Gu Fei. Although the masked witch had revealed her original form, it was still difficult for her to defeat Gu Fei. Swoosh! The masked witch directly turned around and rushed towards the demon palace that was floating in the void. She directly rushed into the demon palace and disappeared into the darkness. Gu Fei did not stop the masked witch. He chased after her unhurriedly and arrived in front of the demon palace. Rumble! At this time, the entire demon palace suddenly shook. Powerful demonic power was vast and mighty, and a figure indistinctly appeared in the demon palace. The masked witch's power was increasing rapidly, and her cultivation was infinitely close to the supreme realm. The power contained in the demon palace was being activated by the masked witch. Swoosh! In the next moment, a demonic figure directly rushed out of the demon palace. Boom! With a loud bang, the two fists instantly collided. Gu Fei only felt a strong force from the demonic figure's fist, and his entire body immediately involuntarily took a few steps back. What? Gu Fei was taken aback. The opponent's power had increased by a lot. What was going on? The masked witch's cultivation actually increased by so much in such a short time? How did she do it? Gu Fei found it hard to believe. He had fought with the masked witch before, and both of them were injured. It was difficult for them to truly defeat the other. But this time, he easily beat the masked witch back into the demon palace. Then, the masked witch's cultivation base and battle prowess suddenly increased by a large margin. The masked witch's cultivation and combat power were very strange. At this time, the masked witch also took a few steps back. Perhaps this was the masked witch's true combat power. This caused the battle blood in Gu Fei's body to boil. The stronger the masked witch was, the stronger his battle intent was. What happened? Why did she actually fall into the demonic path? The Golden Rock Goddess, who was watching from afar, muttered to herself. The masked witch's true form was actually a chaos demon rock. This made her unable to believe that the former Golden Rock had actually fallen into the demonic path and became a demon rock. No one knew what happened back then. Boom! The masked witch threw another punch, clashing head-on with Gu Fei. The two fists collided, and the two figures quickly separated, then moved quickly in the air. Everywhere they passed, the air crumbled. Gu Fei and the masked witch were evenly matched. They fought their way into the demon palace, causing the entire demon palace to shake. Many ancient demonic patterns appeared on the demon palace. Roar! A roar suddenly rang out from within the devil palace. An incomparably powerful creature was startled. Cracks appeared on the entire devil palace, as if it could collapse at any moment. Soon, the shadow of a dragon appeared in the demon palace. At this time, Shao Chun and the masked witch were fighting in the demon palace, and it was hard to tell who would win. Everywhere they passed, the walls of the demon palace were broken. The entire demon palace seemed to be on the verge of collapse. However, several incredibly powerful auras burst from the demon palace, as if powerful demonic creatures were awakening. This shocked the Golden Rock Goddess and the others who were watching from afar. Roar! A terrifying roar came from the demon palace. The battle between Gu Fei and the masked witch was earth-shattering, and the buildings in the demon palace were constantly collapsing. A demonic figure rushed out of the demon palace. It was a demonic dragon, baring its fangs and claws as it pounced at the Golden Rock Goddess and the others. Die! The Golden Rock Goddess went up and fought with the demonic dragon. Boom! At this time, there was a loud noise, and the demon palace floating in the sky exploded. Gu Fei and the masked witch shot into the sky at the same time, fighting their way into the chaotic air. At the same time, two extremely powerful demonic figures rushed out of the broken demon palace. It was a demon Qilin and a one-horned demon wolf. The two powerful demonic beasts pounced at the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others. They were ferocious, and the demonic aura that rushed out from the two demonic beasts covered half the sky. Die! The mysterious demon mountain lord took the initiative and went up to fight with the demon Qilin. The blood god also took action, fighting with the one-horned demon wolf. The Meng brothers and Mo Mingqian watched from the side, showing no signs of taking action. There were actually three powerful demonic creatures hiding in the demon palace. This was something that the mysterious demon mountain lord and the others never expected. It seemed that this place was not a good place. Chapter 3145. In the eastern region, in the depths of the no man's land, there was a hidden world in the depths of the ruins. This shocked Gu Fei and the others. Gu Fei charged into the underground void. As expected, the masked demoness, who had fought with him before, was hiding there. When the two powerhouses met, a great battle broke out. Gu Fei was incomparably powerful. In the beginning, he was actually able to suppress the masked demoness. However, when the masked demoness escaped into the demon palace that was floating in the void, she seemed to have received some kind of boost, and her battle strength actually soared. In the end, the entire demon palace was destroyed by Gu Fei and the masked demoness. The two broke through the void and charged into the chaos. After the destruction of the demon palace, three incomparably powerful magical beasts rushed out of the broken demon palace. Among the three magical beasts, one was a ferocious demon dragon. Its pitch-black body was like a winding mountain ridge. It opened its mouth and breathed fire. It wasn't an ordinary fire, but a kind of demon fire that could burn a great demon sovereign into ashes. As for the other magical beast, it was a Qilin that had fallen into the demonic path. The demon Qilin was also a fire-type magical beast. Its entire body was covered in black demonic flames, causing the space around it to distort and distort. The last magical beast was a demon wolf. It had a horn on its forehead and a pair of bat-like wings on its back. Moreover, the demon dragon didn't have fur. Instead, it had hard black scales. At this moment, the Golden Rock Goddess was fighting with the demonic dragon. As soon as they clashed, the Golden Rock Goddess revealed her true form. A pair of golden claws directly grabbed the huge dragon's body. Then, with a violent tug, the dragon was actually torn into two. Roar! The demon dragon's roar was earth-shattering. A large amount of the demon dragon's blood rained down from the sky. It was like a rain of blood. The air was immediately filled with a pungent smell of blood. The lower half of the demon dragon's body fell down. With a loud rumble, the ground below shook and dust filled the air. The upper half of the demonic dragon's body was still held by the golden rock. The demonic dragon fought back with all its might and bit the golden rock's body ferociously. The golden pink goddess let out a sorrowful cry and rushed into the sky. Countless golden feathers floated down from the sky. These were the divine feathers of the golden pine, and they were hard to find in this world. The parts of the golden rock's body that had been bitten by the demonic dragon were badly mangled, but the golden rock's blood that dripped from the wound shone with a brilliant golden light, like golden stars twinkling in the sky. At this time, the golden rock circled in the sky and directly swooped down at the demonic dragon, a pair of golden claws tearing the void between heaven and earth. The demonic dragon was extremely ferocious. It directly collided with the golden rock's claws, and black demonic light erupted from its two dragon horns. The two dragon horns on the demon dragon's head were like two demonic halberds, directly piercing through the void. Boom! The golden claws collided with the dragon horn, which was emitting a demonic light. It was as if a golden sun had collided with a black sun, and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. The next moment, the golden light and demonic energy spread in all directions. The demonic clouds in the sky were directly dispersed, and the dark void was directly shattered. The fluctuations of power spread for thousands of miles, sweeping away mysterious demon mountain lord, blood devil, and the others who were fighting with their respective opponents. Even the Meng brothers directly fled. Only Mo Mingtian calmly retreated. That little girl actually has such battle prowess. Mo Mingtian couldn't help but be moved when he saw the body in the distance that was blooming with golden light. Although the chaotic golden rock lineage was few in number, each of them was incomparably powerful. Of course, the chaotic golden rock lineage was a creature of the god race, and it was the sworn enemy of the major demons in the Chaos Realm. Once the chaotic golden rock lineage appeared, the experts of the Chaos Realm would definitely attack it together. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands, and even a strong man was afraid of numbers. No matter how powerful the golden rock race was, they could not fight against so many powerful demons. Moreover, in the Chaos Realm, there were many incomparably ancient and powerful demons. The demons, which had been passed down for countless years, naturally had an unimaginable deep heritage. Even the chaotic golden rock lineage could not compete with them. Otherwise, the chaotic golden rock lineage would not have to hide. At this time, a terrifying power burst out again. In the dark sky, a divine bird that was blooming with golden light and half a demonic dragon were fighting desperately. The blood of the golden rock and the demonic dragon was constantly sprinkling from the sky. Every drop of blood pierced through the void and fell on the ground. The golden blood of the golden rock dyed the ground golden. The demonic dragon's blood had a powerful devouring power. When it dripped on the ground, it actually corroded thousands of ravines. It was incomparably terrifying. The demonic dragon was no match for the golden rock. It should be known that the chaotic golden rock lineage was a divine bird that fed on dragons. As soon as it was born, it could kill the dragon clan. The golden rock lineage was the nemesis of the dragon clan. However, this demonic dragon was still very powerful. It would not be easy for the golden rock goddess to kill this demonic dragon. At this time, the battle between Mystic Demon Mountain Lord and the demonic Qilin began. Pitch-black demonic fire erupted from the demonic Qilin's body and burned towards Mystic Demon Mountain Lord. The void that was enveloped by the black demonic fire was annihilated. However, the void around Mystic Demon Mountain Lord's body was distorted. The demonic Qilin fire that was burning towards him actually disappeared when it reached him. He had guided it into the chaotic void. The demonic fire could not burn his body at all. Mystic Demon Mountain mainly cultivated the void great path. Suddenly, 2 pitch-black blades of light flew out of his eyes. They were 2 spatial cracks. The spatial cracks were shaped like 2 black blades. They cut through the layers of demonic fire and slashed towards the demonic Qilin at an extremely fast speed. The demonic Qilin was obviously shocked and hurriedly dodged to the side. However, no matter how fast it was, the two black blades still slashed its body. Sparks immediately splashed on the demonic Qilin's body. What? The demonic Qilin was really shocked. The opponent's strength was beyond his imagination. The opponent could actually control the power of the void. This was definitely not a good thing for the demonic Qilin. At this time, in another direction, Blood Devil and the horned demonic dragon were fighting. The demonic wolf was a strange beast that was incomparably powerful. In particular, the demon wolf's horn constantly shot out lightning-like destructive demonic light that bombarded Blood Devil. Blood Devil was in trouble. This demonic wolf was actually the most powerful of the three magical beasts that rushed out of the demon palace. I'm too unlucky. Chapter 3146. In the depths of the primordial relic, there was an undiscovered world. At this moment, a great battle between great demon sovereigns had broken out in this world. The Golden Rock Goddess was fighting against the demon dragon. There was no suspense in this battle because the Golden Rock Goddess was bound to win. Golden Rock Wings! The goddess transformed into her human form and let out a furious roar. A powerful might that could shake the heavens erupted from her body. On her back, a pair of golden wings unfurled. They were like two golden heavenly blades that sent the demonic dragon flying. The demon dragon was in an extremely miserable state. The lower half of its body had already been torn in two by the Golden Rock Goddess. At this moment, one of the demon dragon's two horns had already been broken. Dragon blood seeped out from the broken horn and dripped down. The demon dragon was swept by the Golden Rock Goddess' wings. The remaining upper half of its body was almost cut in two, but the demon dragon was still extremely ferocious. I'll die with you! The demon dragon roared. The demon blood flowing out of its body was all burning. The next moment, a shocking might erupted from the demon dragon's body. Rumble! The entire world was shaking. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, the demon dragon's body was undergoing a shocking change. The demon dragon's broken body was rapidly growing back. Even the dragon's broken horn was growing back, but it was very slow. The dying demon dragon was rapidly recovering to its peak state. The wounds on its body were quickly disappearing, and its terrifying demonic might was still rapidly increasing. The Golden Rock Goddess stood in the air and looked at the demonic dragon. She wasn't in a hurry to make a move. This demonic dragon was burning its life force to raise its combat strength to its peak, or even surpass its peak to fight against her. She was looking forward to seeing to what extent this demonic dragon could raise her cultivation. She took out a pill from her body and threw it into her mouth. Very quickly, a powerful aura immediately spread out from her body. The injuries on the Golden Pink Goddess's body were also quickly healing. What she ate was a healing panacea. It was as if a new and powerful force had been poured into her body. The Golden Rock Goddess aura was also rising rapidly. While the Golden Rock Goddess and the Demon Dragon were confronting each other, the mystic Demon Mountain Master attacked continuously, forcing the Demon Qilin to retreat continuously. Although the Demon Qilin was powerful and ferocious, it was the weakest of the three great magical beasts. The Demon Qilin simply wasn't a match for mystic Demon Mountain Lord. Black spatial cracks that looked like sharp blades continuously emerged around mystic Demon Mountain Lord's body. He controlled the power of the void, and used the power of the void to attack his opponent. The pitch-black spatial cracks that looked like sharp blades instantly extended towards the demon Kirin at an extremely fast speed. Soon, demonic blood appeared on the demon Qilin's body. Several spatial cracks swept across the demon Qilin, leaving hideous wounds on his body. The demon Qilin was shocked and enraged. Just as it was about to lash out, the figure of the mystic Demon Mountain Master disappeared into the void. While the demon Qilin was eating, the mystic Demon Mountain Master had already appeared above its head. The mystic Demon Mountain Master seemed to have merged with the surrounding void. The demon Qilin couldn't sense the existence of the mystic Demon Mountain Master at all. It was looking around. However, at this moment, the mystic Demon Mountain Master silently swooped down from the sky. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed the demon Qilin's head. What? The demon Qilin hadn't even finished its thought when the mystic demon mountain master's hand vibrated. In the next moment, the demon Qilin's eyes lost their luster. The demon Qilin's body emitted a muffled explosion, and all the bones in its body were shattered in an instant. In the next moment, the demon Qilin fell from the sky. Boom! With a muffled sound, it fell to the ground. The demon Qilin was like a pile of mud, paralyzed on the ground, motionless. The demon Qilin was killed by the mystic demon mountain master just like that. Its primordial spirit had already been shattered by the mystic demon mountain master when he grabbed its head. When the mystic demon mountain master killed the demon Qilin, the blood devil was in great danger. The demon beast that the blood devil encountered was actually the most powerful one. His body was almost pierced by the horn of the demon wolf. The horn of the demon wolf was still stained with his blood. Damn it! The blood devil kept moving quickly in the void, but the demon wolf didn't want to let him go. It kept chasing after him, making him so depressed that he almost vomited blood. Roar! The blood devil roared. In the next moment, his figure disappeared in the void. Then, a blood-red light exploded and enveloped the entire void. The moment the demon wolf was hit by the blood-red light, a layer of black smoke came out of its body. Its body seemed like it was about to melt. What? The demon wolf was shocked. This blood-red light was very strange. It hurriedly retreated into the distance. However, at this time, the blood devil wouldn't let the demon wolf go so easily. A blood-red light appeared in the sky. It was like a blood-red divine sun had appeared in the dim world, emitting a terrifying blood-red light that made people's hearts palpitate. The demon wolf's body was still smoking, and its incomparably hard scales were constantly falling off its body. Roar! The one-horned demon wolf faced the sky and howled. Its voice shook the universe, and a ball of demonic light rushed out from its body. Rumble! At the same time, an extremely bright electric light rushed out from the one-horned demon wolf's horn. Each lightning was as huge as a mountain, and they all bombarded the blood-red sun in the sky. Without any suspense, the demon wolf's combat power was too strong. The blood devil was directly sent flying. The blood-red light that enveloped the entire void also dissipated under the bombardment of the demonic lightning. Just as the blood devil was sent flying, two auras that were powerful enough to make a great demon Venerable tremble came from the shattered void. Then two powerful figures directly broke through the layers of chaos and rushed out of the extremely chaotic chaos. The two of them were Gu Fei and the masked demoness, who had fought to the point where the void collapsed and charged into the chaos void. Seeing Gu Fei and the masked demon woman rush out of the chaotic void, Mo Mingtian and the others immediately became spirited. They saw Gu Fei and the masked demon woman facing each other.